mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Good evening / good afternoon, depending on what's happening in your location. It's 3:47 where I'm at. Sorry, we're 2 minutes late. That's just how I roll. Hi, everybody. I'm Brick Something, and welcome to the Brick Something News. Today, I am joined by Cullun Culp, aka ToyCulprits. What's going on, Cullun?
How's it going, everybody? I'm excited to be here. It's always fun to talk toys, hang out with the community.
That's exactly right, and that's what we do here. And this is about 8 months-ish in the making. We tried to get together, didn't work out, and here we are now, right? So I'm glad you're able to do it this weekend. Yeah, and there's fun stuff to talk about, and I really appreciate it because you're like, I've got some fun stuff even today. You're like, hey, check this out. Which is like great. It's fresh. We're both excited about it. So I'm happy to talk toys. In general, though, everything good where you're at?
Yeah, for sure. We're keeping busy. Lots of piles of plastic to open up and play with yet, and we're chasing the kid around with the Boy Scout stuff too. So
I was going to say, so you're saying we, and you mentioned your kid because the culprits plural are two culps, really, right?
Yeah, and I always kind of had the intention of that. Like if you read the Facebook about on the thing, it's not just me and my son either. We're all kind of toy culprits. We're all guilty of prioritizing plastic over a new t-shirt, etc., whatever, or spending $20 on a toy t-shirt but not on a if it's any other t-shirt, sure. $5. Yeah, I don't want to waste my money on that. So we're all kind of culprits when it comes to toys.
I love that. So is that just for you and like the parents in the house? Is that something you've both been sort of into toys since you were kids? Is that like something you've developed together? Like what's the story there as a family?
Yeah, my wife's not a big toy person.
Okay.
So she's understanding and patient and supportive.
Okay.
But it's not her thing. She likes gardening and other stuff. My son and I really dove into it. I mean, kids love toys. So when he was, I think 2, like almost 3, my wife was like, oh, you should dig these Rubbermaids of He-Man toys that you have out of the closet, and either let's get rid of them so they're not just sitting there, or get them out and do something with them. And it's all been downhill from there. So it's
nice.
It's all really. Yeah.
So you had your childhood stuff, really? Like,
yeah, my parents were good. My mom was good about shoving things in a Rubbermaid and putting them in the attic or whatever. So I had a lot of my He-Man toys, my Ninja Turtle toys, G.I. Joe. There's a couple toys I remember having, like an Inhumanoids Decomposed that did not survive. I don't know if I garage saled it, trying to raise money when I was 10 years old to buy some other toy or what. But
never mind. Inhumanoids, was that the big giant?
They had the 3
versus the small ones.
Yeah, versus like regular people. There's a big planet monster, a big skeleton, and then
So Decomposed was which was like is it prone?
Oh, it's like prone to falling apart. Would open up and absorb people, and turn them into minions.
Yeah. I never had those, but the other ones that you name checked, I actually had. Between my brother and I had a handful of MOTU things. Strangely, a Castle Grayskull, and then like 3 figures. But my cousin was the big MOTU head, so I got to like enjoy that with him. In our house, it was Star Wars and G.I. Joe, and then whatever random things we could get away with, either somehow convincing my parents to buy or an aunt and uncle who didn't know any better. So that's awesome. You still have it. Apparently, we do too. I didn't realize. I don't know. In my brain, I'd kind of always gone under this impression that at some point, the things had been lost or gone, but apparently my brother's telling me, he's like, no, I have a lot of it in his storage. Like he's had storage for toys for the longest time. And there's some stuff in there that I just thought was lost to the ages. I didn't realize like he still has his, I don't know if you're familiar with like the Shogun Warriors, the old Mattel, the Jumbos.
I've got a big Skeletor one right there.
Got one of those in my classroom. Yeah, the second I saw that was available, I was totally like, oh, I need one. So I'm with you on that. Okay, cool. So we're toy folks. You got your son into it, and your son took to it. I've tried with mine, not so much. But I will report that right before this, I came from Japantown, where me and my two sons went to our first One Piece, the trading card game tutorial session. And so my son's been getting into it, but he hasn't actually played yet. And it's cool, man. These people are smart. They're, it's Bandai Namco official One Piece trading card game. You go, they give you a starter deck if you go to a tutorial. First one's free. And then there's a pile of like, oh, that's our I forgot what they call it. It wasn't trash, but like that's a pile. You can take whatever you want. It's like, come back, come 3 times. We'll give you, but it's really cool actually. It feels like, I was telling my wife, it feels like we're both teachers. It feels like one of our like after school programs. They're like super welcoming, they introduce themselves and like, yeah, come back. And so it's an interesting thing. That said, toys, action figures in particular, my kids haven't totally taken to. Lego, they've inhaled all my stuff. Like, so anyway, it's cool. How old is your son now? Because like I was telling you, watching
14 now. So
okay.
We've been, like every piece of mail I get, we open together, and any new toys we open together. If he's gone for the weekend, I have to wait to open something. Like we do it all together. Yeah.
Congratulations. I hope that sounds like it's a good, because that's awesome, man. We got built-in toy buddy. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, wake up, let's open this. I love that. And I was just telling you that looking at and following your Instagram and then stuff I've seen you post in the past, him and you opening things, it's like literally we watch him grow.
Yeah.
You look at those pictures, and anyway, I love it. I love to borrow from a good friend Jay, like I'm all about the geek dad life. So I love it. All right. I know there's a bunch of other geeks and many of them dads in the chat too. Let's say hello to the folks who've come to hang out with us today. Wow, that sounded especially romper room. Okay, romper, bumper, stomper, do. Tell me who. Let's see. Brian Carr is here today. Hello, Brian. Blake is here. What's going on, Blake? Larry's Geeky World is here. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Josh Brown, yo. Rick Jones is here, and Rick Jones knows what's up. He's we're semi-localish. He's down in San Jose-ish area. He knows that tomorrow is my first day with the students. I'm happy to report my classroom is ready to go. My little corner of toys is looking beautiful. Let's see. I'm just kind of curious what people are thinking about. So Brian Carr saying, in addition to new mythics, looking forward to seeing new stuff from AWOC and Brutal Realm at Legions Con. Absolutely. I am getting more and more excited about Legions Con. Everyone's talking San Diego Comic-Con, and they talk about how great it is to like be with everyone. Inevitably, there's a couple of people there that are like, yeah, but Legions Con's coming up. And that's definitely more my speed in terms of both size, in terms of the sort of much more relatively concentrated type of community, right? Because San Diego spans everything.
Did you see the new like hot seat question format that Unparalleled Universe is doing? He just had Robo on recently, and he reshared the clip, and that was one of the things he said: Comic-Con or Legions Con. Robo hesitated a little while, but he came back and said Legions Con. So, and he's only been once, so we made a good.
I'm in that camp.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I'm in that camp of having been to San Diego Comic-Con quite a few times. Legions Con only once, but always wanted to go to all the past ones prior to last year. But this is definitely like more my speed. Easy choice. So, and he, even Friday night, I will say this, you bring up Unparalleled Universe, Odious Wade. He had Kyle Wadiga. Oops, almost did that. Kyle Wadiga, not Lodiga. formerly Super 7, who famously was laid off, and Ryan Ting from Hasbro, who also famously was let go after years of legend stuff. So they were both on there, and he was another one like that came up again. He's telling both those guys, you guys should go back to. Well, he was telling Ryan he should go back to Legion's Gone, telling Kyle he should go. So I think a lot of people understand the value and the beauty, the specialness that is Legion's Gone, and we'll get into that. Sorry. Back to Romper Room, saying hello to the friends. Nolan is here. What's going on, Nolan? Tom Clayton is here. Hello, and thank you for dropping by. Love that. Let's see. Zio is here. Hello, hello. Hope all is well on your part of the world. Ray is here. Hi, Ray. Good to see you. Gatie's Toys. Hello, hello. Sorry I missed your and Allison's coloring today. They're doing some Star Trek Next Generation coloring book stuff. Always colorful conversation when you get those two on a stream. Heady stuff sometimes. Mr. Ryan Clark is here. What's going on? Don't be sorry you're late. That's just the way it is. Ooh, tease. Carried away working on a photo. Can't wait to see what that is. Charlie Squared is here. Hello, hello. Good to see you, Charlie. Grumps, what's going on, man? This guy, the wildly talented Erwin Papa. Oh, man, he draws creatures so beautifully and other things. Speaking of Odious, he did some of the art for upcoming stuff, including the GI Jodius. I don't know if that's the official, but the military one. Christopher Bouchard, hello there. Just got the new Omega Red and War Machine 2-pack. Nice. And the G.I. Joe Classified Armored Cobra Commander. How about that? There's a hot seat question. You're a G.I. Joe guy. Battle armor, hooded, or helmeted?
I was a G.I. Joe guy growing up. I've stayed out of it as an adult.
Me too.
So I haven't been following too closely.
Which is from childhood. Which did you prefer? Which of those?
Tons of time spent in a giant sandbox my dad built with all my G.I. Joe toys. So they were all like sun bleached, just beat up when we dug them back out. But lots of good memories. Probably hooded.
Yeah, hooded.
Yeah.
He was special when he came out because at least compared to the first one I had, which is why he was also mine. He had the swivel arm battle grip. He had the head was a little more detailed than some of the other stuff. The Cobra Commander we had was the first one we had was pre swivel arm battle grip, and I don't know if we had another one. We had a Mickey Mouse and a thing. Anyways,
okay.
Back to childhood, all scratched up. That's my thing. My brother took care of his toys. He's 5 years older, and he'd always be upset because mine were well loved is what it was. Hello to everybody. Let's see. The Collecting Brothers, what's going on, John? Good to see you. He says, hey, it's Cullun. Good dude. Jackie Jager, what's going on? Hello to you. Yay, Cullun. Love the Shira love in that thumbnail. Accomplish everything. I'm desperately trying. Yo, what's up? Bigger tease. It involves flying rabbits. It includes okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, you guys are twinsies. Love it. How embarrassing. No, it's all good. Let's all wear the same things. Corsair Creations is here. Hey, family. No, not family. Sorry, I read Kundal. For some reason that translated in my brain to Culp, but I don't know how that worked. So glad to be able to stop by during this live. Thank you so much for coming through. We might be talking about your stuff because you had some exciting news. And we're going to get there. The show is called The News. It actually stands for this ridiculous acronym. It's a habit of my people. We make acronyms out of everything. But the Needless Ephemera We Saw, which is a fancy way to say, like, we're just going to talk about anything we want to that we think is neat. And hopefully it's interesting to you all. There will be quite a bit of stuff probably, and we'll try and move through. But there's a URL that's coming right under that cool rainbow-colored Hagnon shirt that he's wearing. If you go to that URL, and then let's see, this QR code, boom. After the show, all the links will be there. I actually actually made a little mistake the last 2 shows and forgot to upload them, but those are all there now. Speaking of which, little housekeeping, definitely check out the last 2 shows. So last week with Josh Brown, last Sunday, regular Sunday show was awesome. I love Josh. I learned about some interesting things, both on the show and after the show. And I'm really excited for what he's doing for Legions Con. If you didn't see, he's got this really cool idea for coming with product heads that actually work perfectly with the Crossroads figures. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, he knows that we're getting these exclusives. He worked to create something that would be perfect for you. So you're like, oh, I got these figures. How can I not get the alt characters? So that's cool. And he's got some other tricks up his sleeve that I'm excited to help reveal and talk about as those things happen. But I think you and I have already talked, and people obviously in the chat are already talking about Legions Con. So let's go ahead and, sorry, before that, the Tuesday show was with Somya, a buddy of yours. I know you've been helping with that Legends of the Ramayan Kickstarter, yeah?
Yep. Yeah. And they broke the funding goal like 2 days ago, closing in on 65K for the last unlock. We checked right before we went live, and it was 1,500 off. So super close to being able to unlock that extra kind of base figure, a little better price point for customization and stuff. So that'll be exciting. Yeah.
So that's exciting, but definitely go back and check that out. I really enjoyed that conversation. I can't help it. Like, we did talk about the toy line, but I was like, the Kickstarter's there. Let's talk a little bit about like him and his history as an artist. And just, I really love how he's just like sees a thing and is like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And so casual about it. He's like, I couldn't find artists to work with when I got here. So I learned to draw. And I was like, oh, okay. And now here he is, like, I'm creating a toy line based on something that I love. So check out that Tuesday night stream, and we'll talk a little bit more and check in on that. But first, let's go back to that Legions Con conversation. How do I do this now? I click this. Gosh, every week you'd think I'd figure it out. All right. This is me and this warlock that or sorcerer, I'm not totally sure, that I got to hang out with briefly and meet at Legions Con 2024. What was this character? You've told me before, and it keeps.
I mean, it was just me in a purple wizard robe. It's close to Arazak. If some more effort had been put in, but yeah. And I do have that toe necklace handy too still.
That's right. These are all little toes. So creepy. That was like Curtis had some, right? Or
yeah. Curtis had done a cool custom that required him chopping off toe trolls, and I said, hey man, if you're not doing anything with those, I have a fantastic idea. So he sent them over.
I love it. That's funny. When I was going there at first, I was like, oh man, could I make Shui robes and like be like the younger Shui? I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but dude from the Agmander.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, instead I wore a Animal Warriors of the Kingdom shirt every day because I got to work at the Spiro table, which is awesome. And I'm just these are all things that people have seen before, but I will just say, as we've kind of hinted at the start of the show, man, being at Legions Con, one of the best, I would argue the best part, and I've heard a lot of people say this, and I think it's with reason, is being able to like meet other like-minded collectors, folks who are into the same kinds of things at the same levels. You know, you're like excited that you'd be in this like gigantic hall filled with just passionate nerds about, of course, the Four Horsemen stuff, about indie toys in general, about custom parts. And, you know, even like on the tip of just talking about art and creativity, because this toy company in particular, like has loads of artistic talent and integrity, and that's real up front. So I don't know. In general, would you?
Yeah, and you said meeting people, and sometimes you do meet people you don't know yet, but a lot of times you're getting to meet people for the first time that you've already been hanging out with and interacting with online. Yep. Or people you haven't seen in a year, 6 months, because the only time you see them is at toy shows. So it's definitely that, like Jeremy Gerard always says, it's part toy show, part art show, and part family reunion. And it's
Yep.
that latter part that really gives it the heart and makes it what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I go through these, just flipping through, I was like, oh yeah, that was the first time. Like after seeing Terrence quite a bit on the Clubhouse and in AWOC chats, it was like, oh yeah, that was one of those where finally got to meet in person. Or this guy who actually doesn't live all that far from me, but this was the second time that I got to see him in person. I saw him at a San Jose Toy Show. This guy who I spent a lot of time with in chats and on streams. This was the second time we got to see each other in person. So it is kind of cool that way. And then I got to meet some of my favorite action figures who were walking around, which was kind of cool. So I love this. It's great. I can't recommend it anymore. Not just, obviously here, Oz. First time ever I got to be in the same space with Oz and Ziggy. And like, Oz was the first person who ever actually brought me onto a live stream.
Oh, nice.
Been like, it was kind of cool. It's like, oh my God, we're actual people, not just pixels. So I don't know, I can't recommend it enough. November 7, 8, and 9 this year. So this is an annual thing for you since when? Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, this is I've been to 3 now. So my first one was the infamous one at the Marriott where only one elevator worked. So yeah, my third one. It's my absolute must travel to toy show every year. So I know a lot of people talk about distance being an issue. And I got to fly out. You got to fly out. I mean, we both travel pretty far for this show. If you can only make one a year, try to make this one happen. Like this is the absolute must. Since then, I've started trying to go to a couple shows a year, but I have to travel to most of them. So they're a little pricey. I only do a couple, but I love any excuse to hang out with the community that I can justify.
Yep. And what also made it special, I will say, my brother was able to go with me, and he was the sort of +1 for the intern thing, and it was just a really cool experience for us to go there together. I don't think that he'll be able to make it there this year. Same with these guys. First time I got to in person, got to actually meet Jason and James from Brutal Realm, Toy Bro. Yeah, it was just really cool. And in the background there's Zuri is shooting him in the head. This guy, it was really cool. And so on top of that, obviously, there's the toys. I can't wait till Thursday this year to find out this is your stuff. We'll get there next, but I can't wait to find out what's in store. This is going to be, I'm referencing G-Con. For those who might be unfamiliar, that's really the big wave release. I know some folks who don't really follow the Legion stuff much, and they were under the impression that what we just saw with Einsamal was oh, that's their big wave. I was like, yeah, it's a big deal, but it's not that big deal. Do you have any? I know it's really early, but do you have any wishes? Not necessarily predictions, just wishes.
A lot of people like to speculate, plan. Yeah. I just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
So maybe some more mounts would be fun. I obviously love to hear the Hagnon story progress a little bit more. There's definitely some open ends there. Every time they surprise us, they deliver something that we were not expecting. And I enjoy that. I don't want to overanalyze it and ruin some of that.
Amen.
I'm in the loop. I see a lot of posts. I read all of the stuff they put up, but I like being surprised. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can respect that in this internet day and age. And, there's incessant talking about stuff to the point where maybe a little less information might be fun. I'll just say broadly, not so much a wish. I'm just really excited that that this is the first real story moving into the next big sort of story arc, right? The first wave moving into the next big story arc. And I'm just sort of excited to see what happens next. If there is a wish.
Yeah, they can go anywhere with it. People talk about, mer creatures, ocean. Even before we saw the wider map, my son's always like, look at all that water around there. There's got to be something.
Smart. Yeah.
There's just anything now. So it's wide open. Yeah.
and I think if there was a wish, the wish would be to see a little bit more of those other sort of continents. And like the last time the waves were sort of structured sort of around the Dark Four and kind of like their forces. That was one way, and then different factions. Maybe instead of giving us, a little bit from each of the world, maybe like focus on one part, reveal it, and then slowly just trickle it out that way, and give us a sense of like what some new world / cultures in one particular part of mythos, and just start to tell that story, man. Yeah, either way, I'm with you. I've never watched a G-Con and been like, I don't know, at all, even remotely underwhelmed or even whelmed. It's like usually like overwhelmed. So that's what I think. That is what is especially exciting about this whole thing. If you think about the way they've structured, what do they call it? Like Mythic Weekend or the general?
Yeah. Mythic Weekend. Because we've got intern for those able to attend on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
G-Con is Friday. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, that's the reveal special day. And then we've got all Friday evening to hang out with the community before the two actual days of the show. So a lot of people, even if they aren't going to intern on Thursday, will show up on Wednesday anyways, just to hang out because people are going to be around. Yep. And I strongly recommend leaving Monday if you can. The first time I went, I had to leave Sunday evening, and it sucked. I was at a table full of awesome people at dinner, and I'm like, I have to go catch a flight.
Yeah.
So never again. I'm always taking Monday off work and flying out Monday if you can.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Different. Everybody's financials are different. That's one extra night in a hotel room. I get it. But.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I will say as far as tips that I didn't know because it was my first time, and I don't know if this is a regular thing, but I had never wrapped my head around the idea that as you're in G-Con and you're in the big hallway getting this sort of like 6 to 8 hour rundown of all these exciting things that are coming outside, things are happening. You walk in, it's like empty hallways in a hotel. You go outside, like, oh, all these cases are set up and figures are out. So I don't know, like, don't get in people's way as they're setting up. But if you walk out every now and then early enough, you can kind of see things as they get unveiled. So, okay. With that said, let's do another quick check-in before we start looking at this awesome photo taken by Cullun here and some of his other stuff that's on his Instagram. But let's just check in where folks are at. J-Mac has dropped in. Good to see you, man. Always good to see you, sir. Tom Clayton is saying, it was Cullun's peer pressure that pushed me over the edge to support Somia's Kickstarter.
I just reminded him that there were test shots available.
That's a particular weakness of his.
A little bit. He's a lot more constrained than I am, but those are some fun test shots. The different colors on them, the kind of story behind that with Hanayama. Just kind of neat. Definitely a piece of the history. It's his toy line, but it's heavy Four Horsemen worked on. So these are Four Horsemen test shots.
They're beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful. Here, I've been playing with mine quite a bit, and they're set up right next to me. But I just love his posability and that little flying pose, and the bugs are stuff that I picked up in Japan, and they've been incredibly fun. But I mean, they work so beautifully together.
Was just genius. Like. Mm-hmm. We definitely will be seeing that other places now.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a cool thing to think about. The Four Horsemen's ability to both, create their own line. Just as I lose track of if we're on or off stream yet, but just the idea that they're like really set the stage for a lot of the indie work that's going on, and. From being this like really successful indie Kickstarters, plural, to now like working with indies, right? Armies of Ashmore, these Somia's line, like to help develop them, and we'll learn more about some of the other things they're working on. But it's just kind of neat to see the level of work that they're able to do being brought into other lines and new lines like this. As you say, like it's a Four Horsemen done quality piece. I'm looking at the fur, just everything. It's gorgeous. So, okay. This guy, again, one of these guys who so awesome to see in person, even though I will say that seeing him at Legion's Con is a whole other experience because he was, wrangling swigs.
Swig game strong, and that's back this year. They're doing that again. So,
yep. Greg, what's going on, man? Oh, I hope both of you saw your photos. We saw two of your beautiful faces there in a second. Oh yeah, you probably did. You probably did. He saw me during intern. I was just kind of looking around, listening to Nate, but then looking at the shelf, and he's like, "Look at this," holding his finger. Jesser, what's going on?
Overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh, you guys got to meet at ZoloCon. See, I don't get to do a lot of those, and I think that's really cool that you all have those different opportunities throughout the year to see folks that are relatively close to you. That's cool.
Yeah, I flew out last year. I went to 3 shows. This year I went to 2, in addition to Legion's Con. Okay. Just trying to make a point of it, kind of once a quarter, give or take.
Love it. Charlie Squared. It's going to be his first, which is awesome. I will be going back with Spiro Toys, and I'm excited to go back. If I can swing it, I'm there every year. That's my goal. It's the one. Like for me, it's one. Everyone's like, "Hey, you're in California. Why aren't you coming to SDCC?" This year I had an excuse. I was traveling. But even if I don't have an excuse, it's not necessarily something I would do every time. Just want to make sure to say hello to everybody. Okay, let's go ahead in here. Singing skulls, hair on skulls, always fun. I couldn't help it. The second I saw this, I was like, it's like a mix of like Grateful Dead and like, oh, what if the Ramones were like skeletons? And of course, there's the whole Pink Skulls thing, right?
Yeah, so it's actually a nod to Rankin Bass. Yeah. It's honestly, the wig might be my favorite part of the Legendary Barbarian, just because you can do so much with it. Like you can have a lot of fun. And so, I didn't do any. I just popped them on, laid them on as best as I could. They do have a little peg in them, so they don't sit all the way down, but it totally works.
And you're talking about these guys, and so the Mad Monster Party, which I thought like I was familiar with most of Rankin Bass's stuff. The holiday specials, the Dragons cartoon, which was one of my favorite things back in the day with John Ritter voicing a dragon. There's all sorts of stuff, but this was not something I knew about. So when I saw your photo and I saw this, I looked it up and I was like, okay, single movie, classic monsters, right? Can you run down the special, what it was?
Well, I just want to point out one thing too. We got the googly eyes there on the
right here.
So that's my Howard Sternum. So I actually hadn't seen that before either.
Okay.
I've seen people use the gifts a lot. So there's like skeletons playing in a band, and I was like, "What is that from?" And I looked it up, and I went, "Okay, that's what I gotta do. That's perfect."
Gotcha. Have you gone to rewatch it?
I haven't. I've just seen all the main ones too, like most of us have. I need to. It's on the list, but time is always working against us.
Tell me about the instruments on this. This is your shot. So if you're unfamiliar, definitely check out Cullun's Instagram. What I appreciate about your stuff is it's toys. It's fun, and you have fun in spades with your toys. You show us like the unboxings but also like I appreciate your holiday setups, your shelf setups, all that stuff. But I really love what you do with your photography. There's always some just fun stuff that we'll take a look at.
Yeah, so I basically just try to come up with an idea that I think is enjoyable or will look cool and make a fun picture, and I rock with it. So this is the Pink Skull Chaos Club set. Like, so all these instruments came with that set. The Mezco Pink Skull Chaos Club. If you guys aren't familiar with that, I had to use a little putty to keep the drumsticks in the hands because they're way too scrawny. But otherwise, the instruments work great, and I've done some Battle of the Bands pictures similarly with other mythics. I did like group shots of each faction having a band a couple of years ago, which was super fun. And they did a little Battle of the Bands and competed in that. So
great looking bass, funky guitar. I dig it. It's cool. Yeah, I think this is really cool. Is the character in the show Howard Sternum, or did you name him yours, Howard Sternum?
I named it. I was trying to. I googled. I was trying to do a clever name for my googly-eyed skeleton. I wasn't finding any. Like they were all kind of a little, I don't know, cliche, lame. They just didn't feel right, and that actually just popped into my head. I've googled it. I think I have seen other references to it, but I was like, that works.
Great shot, man. Reminds Nolan of the singing skulls at the end of, I don't know what this reference is. Ronald the Barbarian?
Yeah, I don't either. We're going to have to look that up now.
Okay. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I was thinking. Grateful Dead. There's a music video. I'm forgetting what song, but they had like a music video that was played on MTV or VH1 back in the day where it's like, not animatronic. What do you call it? Stop motion skeletons with like the hair and stuff. Never a big like dead guy. So didn't really know. So, ARG is another one that I got to meet for the first time after like watching him online. It's really cool. Spaded One, what's going on? Hola, senor. Love the skeletons. Dave's Dimension, what's up, Dave? Good to see you. What's going on, Brian? Please go, Brian. That would be amazing. It'd be amazing to have you as part of the tribe. Yeah. The Vaz Zone, the two of you, what's going on? Maybe are you heading out from Arizona to Legion's Con? Because if not, you should. Man, if you could go, that'd be amazing too. Great to see everybody today. Thank you for showing up. Jesse loves your Howard Sternum.
If you don't have any skeletons from Four Horsemen Studios, you need to try to track one down. The Skeleton Builder 2, which is what's in this shot, they've crept back down in price a little bit, but look into the Graveyard Skeletons. It's a 4-pack for around $100 at most retailers. And they are just so much fun. Like the articulation is fantastic. You can just kind of set them down and they always end up in fun poses and situations. Like you don't even have to try. Like
people are loving the Howard Sternum. I love it. Doombot, what's going on, man? Doombot 9000. It's good to see you. A Touch of Gray might be the song, I'm assuming. See, I was never a big Daddy. You? Much?
Me neither.
Okay.
Nope.
I feel like I should. I live in the Bay Area and I was a musician and our band did long jammy things sometimes. But, and fun fact, oh my God, this is how bad I am. Garcia, first name.
Jerry,
thank you.
Yeah.
He went to the high school that I teach at. He didn't
awesome.
finish, but he started there. And then he dropped out and moved, I think, to San Mateo or something.
He learned what he needed to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Great shot. So again, fun, but you're also, I will say, like, you're doing things like this. So there's like the fun, like, yes, it's fun. It's a funny concept, but you're playing with the parts, right? These are legions and you're putting in eyes. And I think that looks so cool. So there's like, you're customizing, you're doing toy photography, you're doing toy setups, you're mixing and match. It's cool stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it customizing, kit bashing, playing around. I'm not really painting. I've painted a couple things.
Sure.
But my point is anybody can do this. Like you don't have to be skilled with a brush to be able to pop these things apart and have fun and mix and match parts. Like don't let that hold you back. That's one of the
in the interest of not intimidating people. That I get that. Yes, for sure. Have fun with them. You threw in those eyes, but it's amazing how good they look.
Oh, they fit perfect. I bought like a big pack of different sizes off Amazon. They stay in there. I don't have to have any putty or anything. They just fit right in there.
All right, let's take a look at some other stuff. So this is one that I picked back in December. I was like, oh, I want to talk about that because I looked back at the sort of files that I had set up and the thumbnails and I was like, oh, what did I choose there? And I was like, oh, yeah. So based on your familiarity with Rankin Bass and some of the, the toy lines you name checked, I think we're of a similar vintage. And so when these got released, these NECA things, I was like, totally took me right back, like Ratatouille, right?
If you look up behind me here, I've got all the vintage He-Man Ben Cooper masks.
Oh, right.
So I need to rehang them, and there's a couple that aren't up there right now. But yeah, I years ago I just kind of got a couple. I was collecting all the He-Man merchandise I could get my hands on, and I just ended up focusing on that. Like that, I love the way that they display. They're just they've got that nostalgia vibe to them. So as soon as NECA dropped these, I was like, yeah, I'm getting these. I haven't gotten every wave because it's getting to be quite a few, but anytime there's a couple good ones in the wave, I grab the whole wave.
100%. That's so cool. Like I actually haven't done them, but 100% I agree with you that they're really cool. And I really like how they've kind of run the gamut of like trying to bring an IP that was never made. Look at that little Superman.
So much fun.
That they've tried to bring an IP that was never made, but then they've also really honored the original Ben Cooper art direction and style. So like the Xenomorph that they did, which was never a vintage thing, but they took the colorway from the vintage Darth Vader costume and kind of did the bib that way. And I was like, oh, as an old nerd, that made me really happy. This is a great shot. I love that you've got the 3 Franks, right? The 3 Frankenstein monsters coming together in this shot. I think that's so clever and so cool.
And I don't have a ton of other NECA toys, but I love that Frankenstein. And then the laughing face on him, like I hardly ever swap it out. It's just lots of personality in there.
It's so good.
And then we've got the brooding vibe of the Frankenstein's creature from Figura Obscura. Just, I don't know. It came together. I really enjoyed that picture too.
Yeah, he's sitting there going like, man, this father and son seem to have such a great relationship. And it seems like no, I'm just kidding. Like he's going there. Oh, here. Brian Brink, I agree with you. And good to see you, sir. The trick or treat photo is fantastic. It's just so many layers and levels. I appreciate your brain. It's really cool. And yes, Spaded. This is a figure that I don't like army build and do a whole lot, but for whatever reason, I was really compelled to get 3 of these guys. I just like the body type. It was such a cool body. It was, it's a rarity to get mostly that upper torso doesn't have armor or something sculpted. And it does have the stitches, which I'm good with. And between that many heads, the cool heads that it came with, that Hagnon sort of head, I love it.
It's absolutely a Hagnon head.
Yep. And the surprise head from the Ghost of Christmas Past, the mask. That's how I rock mine. Great shot. So do you would you consider, are you a toy photographer? Is this something that you do?
I am, I'm not it's my primary way I play with my toys. I'm no Trevor. I see tons of amazing stuff, Toy Immersion, so many of those guys, so talented. I do feel that some of mine turn out really great, but a lot of mine are just okay. Like I don't do the full setups. I use my phone for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it, I don't want to make it a job. I want to keep it fun. Like I don't want to spend a bunch of time editing them. I don't want to have to get a bunch of stuff out. I want to have my toys accessible. And if I get an idea, I want to be able to take 10 minutes and bang out a shot. Like,
yeah, it's great stuff, man. It is great stuff though. And okay. So again, when I look at your photos, it's like a mix of like, oh, this cool photo, this cool concept, but it's also like, I get a bunch of cool toys and I don't like, there's no limits, right? It's like, oh, let's see if this works. This Mondo Battle Cat head on this troll is perfect. And I really hope we see more use of the troll as we move forward. Cause I feel like
hoping for new troll sculpts.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten this one and they're clear that there are more trolls in Mythos.
Yeah. Yep.
So we need a little variety. And that just kind of rested there. It didn't actually connect. I don't want anybody to think it did, but it worked and the colors were close enough that, in a picture you can't tell. Like,
are you following like modern MOTU, like the MOTU Thundercats crossover?
I've a lot of them I'm not buying. I am buying like the regular Origins, not the Masterverse. The crossovers have been fun. I got the regular, just the Turtles from the Turtle crossover because I felt like, I played with Turtles growing up. I was like, I'll get those core characters. I'm definitely getting the Battle Cat from the Thundercats crossover though. Like that actually just arrived today.
Okay, well that's what I was wondering because I look at this and I look at that figure, and it's like if that one like took some like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of formula or gamma radiation, and like this is what happens when they get angry.
Well, and if you read the crossover, I don't know if you've read the comics.
I have not. No.
So those came out a while ago now, but Lion-O uses the Sword of Omens on Cringer, and he becomes a Battle Cat man like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love seeing this. I also love sort of seeing like, this is a great way to kind of look at art direction. The art direction in terms of the sculpt and the paint going on a Mondo on a Four Horsemen body is kind of neat. Like, it's just so cool. Like they're definitely on par, similar levels of realism. This one definitely has like some like interesting softness to it. It reminds me of like the Mondo stuff, particularly this Battle Cat, looks like it could be airbrushed on the side of a van. Like it has that interesting finish to it. I'm not sure, but it looks so cool. Looks great. Again, I hope to see more stuff for Trolls. I love seeing what people do with Trolls. And I agree. I would love to see a new body as well. But
I do have one custom troll. Let me grab it quick. It's just
yeah. All about customizing your trolls. We've had these things for a while. I know for a lot of people, they've been sitting on their shelves as is.
Well, I do actually have 2 custom troll heads, but I actually have a custom troll.
Oh yeah, I've seen this one. You have a photo of it. I love this guy. This guy looks like he's been stuck underground. It's so good. It's like a Varg troll.
Yeah, it's a vampire troll. We definitely need more troll variety.
Yeah. Perhaps at Legion's Con. That's the other thing. At Legion's Con, you can go through and you can see all sorts of stuff, and people come with really fun things. So that's cool, man. You sometimes get romantic and thematic. This was your Valentine's Day shot.
Yeah.
And what are these skulls? These are not Legion skeletons. These are something else.
So these are before the Legion skeletons. These are Storm Collectibles.
Oh, these are Storms. Okay.
So they were doing all the 2-packs, and I don't know. I just kind of got hooked. Same kind of thing. They were fun to play with. They were easy to just kind of sit down and they just posed. I like the sturdiness of the Legion ones better, but I did end up getting like every color variant of these at the time. So they're still sitting on a shelf, but I don't play with them anymore because I've got my Legions ones now.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. They've got each other to keep each other company. Yeah. Schmerber loves it. Bones need love too. Good to see you, Greg. They're just like, there's something real actually soft and romantic. So it's one thing that the toys have like a tone and a vibe themselves, but you're putting them together. Is this what are they behind? Is that a playset? Is that like
that's
or something?
Snake Mountain.
Yeah, Snake Mountain. Sorry.
Yeah,
I've got Snake Lair on the mind, but yeah, no, it's beautiful in that isolated cropped version, right? It's cute. Never thought like you'd see this tender loving moment with 2 skulls
chained up together, and that's how they died.
Yep. And actually, like just looking at the sculpts of these and the stylized, you'd think, right? Oh, skeletons are skeletons. Looking at the Horseman approach to sculpting these and these are very different approaches, both cool. These almost seem like models compared to the other ones. And then it's not all Legions or MOTU. Like I love this. And there's one other shot where you use this worm sort of thing.
Tremors.
Yes, it's totally Tremors. And also more recently, have you seen Nope by any chance?
Yeah, I have.
There's that set that's kind of in this like, theme parky kind of thing that also stuck out to me. This is great. Like to think that you could do shots with these little plastic army people.
Well, so that's actually like micro machines.
Oh,
so they're even smaller than plastic. The Tremors
tiny.
Are like I forget who made them, but there's like 6 of them, and they came in like vending machine eggs or whatever. They're small, so this was definitely micro scale, and trying to find something to connect with them. And so another picture I did, there's like a micro machine car, and it's not even the regular size; it's like the smaller one.
And what's the sort of play set in the background? The sort of train thing.
Micro machine.
That is okay.
City part thing. Yeah.
That is one thing that I never had a whole lot of experience with as a kid. The micro machine stuff, just the commercials where the guy talked real fast and like that.
Yeah, I had a couple, and we still had them. A couple little aircraft carrier things. They were in some of the stuff my parents kept. And then when we got back into toys, it was like, oh, there's a good deal on, you get 20, 30 of them. So we've got our little stash. Pretty much don't play with them, except my son used to a lot more when he was younger. He would basically just race them across the floor and see which one went the farthest. So you sit there and go through like 60 of them and just shove them and see who goes the farthest, because that's how you play with toys. That's
right. He's doing it right. I'm so happy, man, because my kids are very playful with toys, but they have. I think it's a good thing for their financial future. They're much, they seem to be much more than me, thoughtful about buying stuff and not buying stuff. Grandma's like, here's money, go on Japan and spend it, go crazy, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know, and they're just like, oh, anyway. And here I am enabling them with one-piece trading card games.
No, my similar thing. My son went to Boy Scout camp this summer. Grandma gave him some money. A lot of kids buy slushies and stuff, and he's like, I don't want to waste my money on that. I'm going to save it and buy some toys when I get back. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah. My youngest the other day said WOM. I forget what exactly was talking about. What are you talking about? WOM. He's like, waste of money. I was like, okay. All right, you go, kid. Graboids, baby. People are feeling that tremors.
I had to get this set as soon as I saw somebody post it up. It was a little pricey for how small they are. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I had to get it. And they're fun. They're just so tiny. It's hard to work other things in with them.
Yeah, that's cool though. The graboid, the worm basically looks cool. The detail on that's killer.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Even the paint on that. What year was that? Were these made? Do you know?
I don't remember. I got them.
Those are
like 2 years ago. I think they've probably been a year old, so like 3-4 years.
Okay, great looking.
And they might even be from like Japanese vending machines or something. I forget exactly. Yeah.
Oh, gachapon. Yeah, when I was these are my, so I showed you the bugs, those are gachapon. Yeah. Then I got really into the Legend of Zelda Zonai devices to go with my Figma Link. I think so far, folks aren't familiar. I think right now that's my still up there for figure of the year.
Yeah.
Just came out with
I don't have that one. I think that's the one David Williams has talked about a few times on Legion's chat. And he loves it. It's one of his favorites. I'm pretty sure it's the Figma one.
Single graboid who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. It's funny you say David Williams in Link, because I still to this day think about his Breath of the Wild Link and Epona custom that he did back in the day. That's just still in the back of my head, like, oh man, that's beautiful. Anyways, David's great. Here's something a little different. This guy doesn't only play with his toys. He's thinking about how he can work in his awesome nerddom and fandom into his home decor. This is awesome. Decoupage, I guess, on the
Mod Podge.
Yeah. So
this
very cool.
This was a good find in my pictures. Yeah, I was super happy with how this turned out. So this ended up being like made out of one vintage golden book, and just had enough of the right pictures to where they kind of fit together. Each blade is actually themed a little bit. So one's more Prince Adam and Cringer, one's the evil henchman, and it just came together perfectly. It was just the right amount of materials and the right types of pictures to time together, and then Mod Podge on. So that's been up for like 7 years, and it's still in pretty decent shape. It could stand a little touch up. There's a little bit of peeling, but
yeah, I mean, Mod Podge will seal it pretty good, and it, you can clean it, and it does pretty good. The adhesive's pretty good. Just depends on. Yeah, it just depends on if it got a good stick, if you sanded maybe or whatever, but it'll restick. These look so great. The artwork is killer. Yeah. That's all from one book, huh?
Yeah. It actually had a page torn out of it already, so I didn't feel bad about tearing it up. But yeah, we've got a bunch of the vintage He-Man books, puzzles. It's just fun having that stuff around. And we don't dig it out as much as we did when my son was 8 versus the 14 he is now, but it's still up on the display in the bookshelf.
Whew. The art in those, man, we don't get enough of that these days. You know, especially now with AI, but just seems like they were hiring artists to do all these like children's books and stuff. My brother and I were just going back through time and looking at some old Fantastic Four stories, and they were like full on paintings. Like these artists were beautiful paintings for each of these pages. Yes, the MOTU fan. I love this fandom. Well done. Super cool. And of course, Dubai. Come on now. I couldn't resist. I absolutely got the deluxe and has so much cool stuff. But this is really great. I love it. And just curious, where in the house is what room? Is this like the nerd room? Or is this just like, oh yeah, that's
so there's a couple rooms in the basement. I pretty much have the whole basement for toy stuff, and we've got toy stuff upstairs too. But that was one of the initial collection rooms. Yeah.
Well done on the sort of like the angles too. I love it. Where you're cutting things and
you kind of had to work with what was in there and overlap them a little bit.
Okay, but the angles kind of created like drama. It's cool.
Yeah,
love it, man. Did you do much art at all? Like, is this like collaging and stuff something you did as a kid?
No, I don't think so. I'm not. I would say I can do some basic crafts. And I have an okay eye, but I am not artistic.
Okay.
like.
Well, you definitely have a good eye.
I'm creative. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I love that, man. And I'm glad that like your toys and like in this stage of our lives, that our passions for these things also become like ways to be creative. Speaking of like creativity in abundance, we were talking about Somya. Who has the Legends of the Ramayan. I pointed out to you, and I forgot to mention this to him when we were talking on Tuesday, but that it's LOTR, Lord of the Rings. I just think it's hilarious. Oh yeah, no, not that LOTR, the other LOTR. But I think it's really cool because Lord of the Rings is this epic that Tolkien did, created this whole world, and on Somya I probably went on and on too much about how like really the stuff coming out of India during this time, like thousands of years ago, this was like the beginning of some of the beginnings of humanity's obsession with like fantastic stories and fantastic worlds and epic adventure and character growth and all of that stuff that you do see later in Tolkien. I find them both to be sort of very similar in some ways, thematically, adventure-wise, magic. And I think this Kickstarter for me is incredibly exciting. And I really hope that more and more people get hip to these toys. Because as we've kind of already said, done by the Four Horsemen, like these are top-notch objects. But to think that there's waves potentially coming is great. So this is wave 2. And as you pointed out, they're 13,000 past the goal, now under 2,000, 1,400-ish to get to the next unlocked tier. However, for folks watching on Tuesday or Somya's conversation with Hedgehog on his channel, or he talked to a bunch of folks, just shelve it tonight. Like
he's been
soon.
Very busy.
Yes. That this is a passion project. Like he's putting in a lot of his funds prior to getting the support from the crowdfund to make these things happen. And so a lot of the production has already begun. And I was double checking with him on Tuesday. I was surprised by that because I haven't been watching all of the streams that he's been on. So he might've mentioned that prior to that. But I was just like, oh, so that's great. Cause I'm sitting here like wanting the stuff in the later end. I was like, oh wait, I'm definitely getting that. So either way, got to support. This is super great. But like to know that some of the later things that like, I'll let folks check it out because there's so much to look here, or go watch Jesse and Curtis talking with Somya tonight on the Just Shelve It channel. They'll probably run through the whole Kickstarter, but that Ravan, I kept saying Ravana and I kept hearing him say, oh, Ravan, or you told me about the anime, the Legend of Prince Ram. I notice when they're pronouncing things like that last A is sort of not heard, silent. So, but yes, that Ravan and that enraged head, like that was one that I was like, oh, I really want that in a toy. and it's coming regardless of if we get that unlocked. That's amazing.
Yeah. So wave 1 is already done. It's in his house now, and will ship out as soon as the Kickstarter ends, and he has a chance to breathe from everything he's been doing. And wave 2, they're about to start production, which means, like, worst case, those toys will be in your hands Q1. So these things are coming very quick because, like you said, like, he self-funded a lot of this, and this is just kind of recouping those costs and helping speed some production up.
Yep. Amazing. And we know, like, all that means, because it's similar with Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. This last time, people are like, why are you going back? You've already established, like, you're an established brand. Why can't you just reinvest some of the money from what you've done, etc.? And part of it is this actually just supercharges being able to move through all that development of all, like, future waves.
Yep.
And so this is really great. That's really great for Somia and the line, and great for me as a fan of these kinds of action figures and action figures in general. If you didn't catch it, these are all sculpted and painted effectively, and also project managed by the Four Horsemen. And so you see it in these figures. Fun fact too is that these are kind of compatible with, like, I think, like 1.0 I'm hearing from folks.
Yeah. So yeah, some of the parts work, some of the parts work together. It just depends. Like some of the pauldrons will work. The first 2 figures in wave 1 are more brute scale sized. So you can, like, the Frankenstein's creature coat fits on them, for example. There's some interchangeability there, but they're not built on the Legion system, so you can't pop and swap them directly.
Are you all in on this wave 2, or where are you at with, I mean, if you want to share?
Yeah, I'm still, I got the test shots because I'm definitely that kind of a guy. I'm still trying to decide. I'm trying to behave, but even before the show, I pulled it back up, and I'm like, I probably should just go ahead and go. So we'll see where it ends tonight. But yeah, these absolutely look fantastic.
I changed mine from Tuesday, added some, and where I landed was with Prince Ram, this outfit, his brother, Lakshman, here. And then I picked up Vali because I only got Hanuman from wave 1. So I was like, oh, great. And I know that's going to come pretty quickly. And then Ravan and Enraged Head Ravan, which is going to come up eventually.
Super fun. Yeah, he's down at the bottom. Yeah.
Yep. And then what's his name? Begins with an M. Magnet.
Yeah, I love his grin. I don't know how to say them all for sure correctly either, but the just the expression on his face instead of just that, I don't know, typical bad guy smirk.
Whatever. He's just like, and then of course you've got this guy, Rakamezi, I think is sort of how he Rakamezi.
Yeah.
The tribute on multiple levels to different things, different people. You see the character that might remind you of.
Yeah, so that's a tribute figure for Corn Boy.
Yes.
I got to help name that, which was fun.
I love that.
Sumia was originally tossing around Corn Beast, which is also glorious. But Raquez is Beastman's name in the Classics bio and in the Revolutions cartoon. And then we've got Corn in honor of Corn Boy. We've actually worked in corn cobs and a corn whip to that, which is just fantastic. And if you back wave 1 and wave 2, you get a free Rakamezi figure like that just gets thrown in.
Oh, like if you do the all-ins?
Yeah.
Wave 1 and wave 2. Yep. This accessory around him, the flower, is just gorgeous, but he was not one that I got. Megnad is one that I got. I think his outfit looks great. The expression.
I told Sumia this. He looks like an Indiana Jones bad guy. Like you could work him into a lot of things, and that expression is just.
It's true, and particularly it reminds me of like the action figure line Indiana Jones for some reason. Like I don't know what it is. It's the black and gold. That I don't know, but it's cool. So check this out. It actually ends at midnight today, or 11:59. Eastern. Is that right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, Eastern.
Yeah. So check it out. Oh, look at that. He looks fantastic. So I'm excited about that for sure. Again, Four Horsemen, love, great stuff. And I gotta say, we didn't get a chance to like fully talk about this. I wanted to bring it up this time. The artwork is so good. This is Tadam Gyadu, is the artist. He mentioned the name on the show, but I didn't really spend time looking at these illustrations, and I wanted to just quickly show these because man, you can see his original not quite pencils, or maybe they are pencils, digital pencils, with the finished colored art. So good.
Yeah, and there's a comic that comes with the figures as well, so that you can get some of that story. And if you're not familiar with the story, the full movie in low resolution is available on YouTube. I watched it yesterday with my son for the first time, and it definitely had those late 80, early 90 vibes of movies that we watched growing up. Stuff like The Last Unicorn and Flight of Dragons. Like, it's a little slower paced, but those movies are too, if you actually sit back and watch it. But it was just a fun story and fun characters, and yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I guess by these modern standards, it feels a little slow. I will say, I was just watching yesterday. I was like chatting back and forth with you. One, it really did remind me of like Rankin Bass audio, like some of the songs, how the songs interplay with the movie. The idea of like, sort of storytelling through song, that happens a lot. But even though it is slower in some ways it's fast too. Just having been a little familiar with the Ramayan and this sort of stories, like there's a lot that happens in that, and you're just introduced to characters. You're just like, just keep up. Yeah, this is his wife, and this is what's happening. He just got expelled from the kingdom. Like, you're like, wait, what? Like his
and Volley, one of the first two toys, is mentioned in the movie but isn't even shown, right? Because the movie can only touch on so much of it.
Yep. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you, Jordan. With the I love the purple hearts and the bricks. I love that. Yes, the Kickstarter ends tonight. Terrence just got out of work, but Legends of Ramayan looks amazing. So glad it's funded. Yes, but if you haven't, definitely jump on now. I love this. That's perfect. Yes, you captured it. I agree. J-Mac, I'm so happy. It's excited. Go check out that Tuesday thing if you haven't, but I'm excited for a couple of different reasons. This here that I'm showing you is that cartoon that we were just talking about, but it recently, in January 25th of this year, had a re-release in cinemas, and they digitally remastered everything. So the version that Cullun just mentioned that is available is the sort of older, really low res, lots of MPEG compression artifacts. And then when I saw this,
pretend like you're watching a VHS tape back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this was 4K digitally remastered. The line work on this is beautiful. And I look at this and man, it's gorgeous. It's like, it reminded me of like those quote unquote secret anime back in the day, meaning like, your G.I. Joe Sunbow cartoons or your Thundercats. Actually, Thundercats was Rankin Bass. But like a lot of those things that were actually done in Japan by Japanese animators. But what's neat is like the style. They definitely are following the art direction of a lot of Hindu imagery, and the way that angles I noticed a lot on this are like they hit these like 90-degree angles, and it's really great stuff. And especially with this like digital remaster, it's almost like sometimes like Studio Ghibli-ish in terms of like the parting of that crowd right here.
Yeah, and I think
rendered.
I think Sumia mentioned that somebody who used to work at Ghibli helped with this.
Yeah, look at that. That's straight up Mononoke right there, cut in terms of tone, color, layout. Anyway, unfortunately, I couldn't find this one. I desperately tried, but there is the version that I'll put in the links after the show to the low-res, unrestored 1993 film that they have in its entirety. I was also able to track one down that's like a little bit better. The nice thing about the one that I found, it did have, I was telling you, like the translations for the songs. Like there's a whole period where Hanuman's sort of going off on this montage, and the song actually sort of like tells the story and imparts some of the wisdom. So Secret Tunnel. Thank you. I love it. Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you know, you know, but it's great. Check this out if you get a chance. Check out the toy line. Can you tell us, you were telling me that Somya like specifically name checked this anime, right?
Yeah, so this is something he said that they grew up watching this. So this was like the only thing on in some cases, just with the different television programming available when he was growing up overseas there. And this was like their tradition. This is what you grew up watching over and over again. Like it was on in the house. So it was definitely fun to go check that out and finally see it myself. He said there hasn't really been any toys from this. So that's so cool that it's this very popular cultural thing that he's now bringing into plastic form.
Yep. And you can see there's Hanuman, and you can see kind of where some of even the styling of some of the figures harken back to these depictions. What's up, Hedgehog? Good to see you, man. He had a great interview with Somya as well. They definitely ran down that Kickstarter really thoroughly, so check that out. But let's keep moving. Cullun is a fan of many toys. One of them is related. One of the many things that he's into is related to this. Let's talk a little bit about Corsair Creations. You brought this up today. You said, hey, breaking news. Let's talk about it. It's like, absolutely. These are fantastic. Can you share with folks what's happening with this Realms of the Black Tide by Corsair Creations?
Yeah, so Quaid, you can see his name on the screen there. He's a member of the Cabal. And this is something that him and his wife have come up with. And similar to Legends of Ramayan, they've reached out to Four Horsemen Studios. So Four Horsemen Studios has done, the work behind this line, working with them. Very, very similar situation to Sumia. And I mean, if you zoom in a couple of these, so this is pirate themed, Realms of the Black Water. I think I got that right. Again, these just started getting posted up yesterday, so this is definitely hot off the press. And go give them a follow on Instagram. The details just look fantastic. I love all the barnacles on the bottom of the coats. The paint jobs look just stunning, and a nice variety of characters. Like even though several of them have similar coats, they're just you've got your sea creature captain, you've got a skeleton, you've got your human. So a nice spread already being shown on this. And this will be a Kickstarter. They're still working out the details on the dates, but give them a follow so you can stay tuned. This is, as you can see from these images, pretty far along already.
Yeah, they're looking fantastic. Here's Quaid. He said earlier, I'd love to hear your feedback sitting on pins and needles. I think the feedback is these look really, really cool. The designs of the characters, the fact that we are getting sort of like pirate themed things is something I know within the Legions community. People are like, give us the pirates.
Yeah, that's one of the things I told him right away when he messaged me yesterday. I'm like, yep, that's a common thing we see people talking about in the Cabal. We want some pirate legions, some different pirate faction, something. So this, this won't be on the Legion system, similar to Legends of Ramayan. It's their own toys, but it will go together nicely, or just on its own. Also, yeah, I love it. Tons of detail.
Captain Charybdis. I'm thinking Scylla and Charybdis. If you're a mythology fan or a fan of the police, because that's a lyric.
So my son's name is Sidon, and that's based on Poseidon.
Yeah,
that's where we got that from.
How do you spell it? That's awesome.
That's CEIDON. So we lost the POS and put a C on it. Yeah,
very cool. Yeah. Now these figures look fantastic, as you pointed out, like all the barnacle details, man. And I don't know if you saw earlier, folks who are watching. We've already been talking Legions Con. The paint masters and the prototypes will be shown at Legions Con. And I don't know when the Kickstarter's coming. It just says sort of coming soon.
Yeah, they're still working that out. Yep.
But look at the hands and the details on the hands on the underside with those. Look at those
Yeah.
little barnacles or like suction kind of things. I don't know what do you call those on an octopus?
Yeah, I don't know the term.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either. I'm a kid of the 80s, so adventure people, they're suction cups is what they are.
Yeah. Yep.
But really cool looking characters. What do we know what size these are going to be?
I think that they're 6-inch. I don't know if he's still watching. I'm pretty sure they're
Wait, if you are,
scale with
tell
a
us,
lot of
let
what
us
we're
know.
getting.
Yeah. Here you go. Like people already requesting. Man, please do a mermaid. Hey, what's up, Mark R? Saying want.
That's got to be on their radar. It's got to be on there.
Yes. And that's something that I was thinking about a lot. Like snake bodies. I was saying this last year. Like, oh, I think we're going to be getting a lot of those, and we are. Like we've seen a couple different companies, including the Horsemen, showing us like what a snake lower body looks like. The other piece was like mermaid bodies, like, and so I would love to see that. Hey, what's going on, man? Collectible fun. Good to see you, senor. Terrence is saying, please not November to February. The theme absolutely looks fantastic. So good, Jesse. This is right up my alley too. And if I'm sure he knows what's up. If they are sized to fit with my other stuff, which tends to be a little on the larger domestic 112, whatever we're calling that, 6.5 and up, 6.75 really.
7 inches.
Perfect.
Yep.
And I know that actually, hey, look at all my secret messages. No one was at the top. Yes, that would be fantastic. 7 inches in scale. That's great.
Perfect. Yep.
Between AWOC, between Legends of the Ramayan, Mythic Legions, Masterverse even. I'm right there. Bondi SICs. He says, ha, mermaids, you guys have no idea. Love it.
There's a lot of awesome sea creatures out there and different takes on mermaids.
Yes. Hey, look at this. Hedgehog Action. Thank you for the super chat, man. He is saying SDS is a baseball season now. I need help with that. I actually don't know what SDS is. Shooting
the shelf.
Oh.
And baseball seasons are on forever and every day, basically, there's a game. I don't know if that's what that is.
Help us out, Jonathan. Translate. First off, I saw the word baseball in my head. My eyes glazed over.
We're not hip to all the TLAs.
That's a sport. Mermaider. Oh my gosh, these look really good. And he says, if you scroll down, the other two captains are there too. Absolutely. So
focused
look at
on
this.
That. Yeah.
So good. This is sort of the video montage. And a lot of it's the same of these. So let's focus on these. This is Captain Algol Death Mold. Algol Death Mold. I love it, man. I can't wait to see how this plays out. That coat. You're mentioning the coat from Frankenstein's Creature. It's like that with cool barnacles.
Yeah, you slap that on a lot of legions and it would be fantastic.
Man. And, at the end of the day, you build in an ecosystem that is compatible. It's just like, pardon the pun, given the line, but rising tides lift all ships, including ones in the black tides. So this looks amazing. This is definitely one of those where I was like, okay, right up my alley. When the Kickstarter happens, you're going to do the tour. Please come through here, Quaid, and let's talk about this awesome line. I love it. His hatless look. Look at that.
Definitely a seasoned captain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, you're going to have to put him on your stage and put some hair, legendary barbarian hair on him. Put him in the band.
For the flashbacks to his younger days.
Yes. Look at that. Skeleton hands with jewelry. Come on. Very cool. Oh, so what a time. I always say that, but it's so true. What a time we are in right now.
We are definitely spoiled. And as you mentioned, I think before the show started, maybe a little bit after, so much of that is thanks to Four Horsemen Studios being able to help bring these visions that people have to life.
Yep.
Boom.
They've really helped define what modern indie toys look like. And some brought in ideas like people are all about the customs. Not that they invented customs per se, but they built a system that embraces it and like, you know, create the idea of being able to create specific parts and just focus on, oh, I'm going to do custom heads, custom hands, custom belts, whatever it is. And it's, so now they're, like you said, supporting other companies to do their thing. So good. And they're fans too. I mean, I was at, you know, again at Legions Con, and it was so cool to like have Corn Boy come to the Spiro table and be like, what's this? And he's just like glazing over at like the Bushido figures and all the Void. It was just so cool. Like, oh, look at this.
That's definitely one of the best parts about the Four Horsemen too, is that they are fans of toys also.
Yes.
Like that, they play with these. It's fun seeing like Corn Boy bought the big crab thing from Brian Say at Legions Con last year. It's just cool seeing their hauls too and their interests. Yeah.
Captain Alistair Morningstar with a U. He's grieving. Look at that cool blade. Wow. Yeah, man, these are totally up my alley. It's a really cool, unique little world. Genre-wise, I guess, and stylistically. This is so cool. He looks great. So check those out. We'll be looking. I'm definitely, I can't wait. So I appreciate it.
They need to get that placeholder page up so we can start clicking that notify me button.
Yep. Ah, man, what a world. So cool. All right. From one realm to another, these guys, Brutal Realm, James and Jason, what's up? They have been busy. They are still trying to work and get these figures done and moving. And I wish them all the luck, and take your time, because I know they really want to make the best toys possible. And they're doing some really cool stuff. But in the meantime, they're going to different shows, and they've sort of had this concept of sort of like, you know, what's our display on our table going to be like? And how do we communicate the world that we have in our mind that these figures exist in? And I love that they're embracing like the baobab tree. If you're familiar with some of their characters, they have one character in particular, that Ogun, who is inspired from Africa. And I'm off the top of my head, I'm forgetting from where, but the Iron God Ogun comes from. They are in the baobab tree, like seems like to be playing like a key role, like I don't know, to use an analogy, like a Castle Grayskull, right? Like this is a centerpiece of this world.
Yeah,
and I look at
has fortress vibes. Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's deep magical secrets contained within. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see, I don't know if it's Yoruba maybe, but the artwork that very much looks like some of the iconography on Ogun's shield. Look at, so gorgeous. Look at the lion with the what would you call it? What, a crown maybe, or like a whatever. Awesome. It's cool. So this is something that they're printing, it's going to be sort of featured on their table. It will be at Legions Con and other shows is the goal. I love it. I love world building. So I'm already excited about their figures. Now I'm getting a taste of their world. I love it. Based on the African baobab tree, the artist Ava taken to another level. We love creating big worlds and epic stories, and this is a diorama piece that will soon be helping us show off our figures at upcoming conventions. What secrets and power? What power does the lion tree hold? Only time will tell. They say also, here, give us feedback. The feedback is it's a dope design, and I would love it. I can't really traffic in some of the big Dio playset things that have been happening lately. Even Bayathir, I famously had to say I can't do it space-wise, but I love that this is happening. Were you into Brutal Realm? Was that on your radar at all? Of the many,
I've seen what they've been putting out. I didn't back it again. Just that so much space and so many
exercising self-restraint. Good job.
Yeah. I do like the style. You know, it's definitely got those He-Man amped up barbarian vibes. And the designs are gorgeous too. Yeah. And this playset would work with so many different things. Like
exactly.
if you're able to purchase this and it's not just a display piece on their table.
Yeah. It's one of those things they kind of create them and sort of see where they go, see what the interest is. And we'll see. They're busy working on figures. Building play sets is a whole other beast. And, but it's kind of cool to see. Terrence is saying there's a storm brewing and we're expecting a tsunami of awesome 112 indie toys. Absolutely. Between pirates, between big buff dudes and their giant lion baobab trees. What's up, KJ Smith? Good to see you. On the Kickstarter, I think you're mentioning AWOC, that there's a tease of an exclusive. Maybe. That's part of the excitement. That's part of the joy. What's up, KJ? What's up, Paul? This is cool, but that's not the only thing. So James sent me these shots that will be on, I think he's planning on uploading them to Instagram this week, but he said, here, show it to the folks when you show off the tree. And so these are the latest prototypes. This is of Crowman. You can kind of see them kind of figuring out the different accessories and different faces. I don't believe we've seen this sculpt yet of this sort of angry, accursed face, I guess, because he does have that crow that sort of manifests in him. So that's awesome. This we sort of saw a shot of, I think, last week or so, posed up. This is their Grim Skull. I had to double check with him. I was like, hey, man, what sizes are these? So these guys right here, the sort of more standard buck, are 6.75 inches tall. And then Grim Skull's a little bit taller, maybe 7, a little over, because he's, the big bad. And then here was newish to me was the sculpt of Crowman, Chief Motto, sorry. And I haven't really fully seen his headdress sculpted. So I think I'm really excited for this figure. And I can imagine how the colors are going to be on this guy. That's what I especially loved about this line, was giving us, things that look like fantasy versions, taking inspiration from Africa, from the indigenous folks of Native America, North America in particular, folks out of Asia, China, Mongolia. So really cool. I'm excited to see these, and shout out to James and Jason for sharing those here. Really appreciate that. Those will be up on their probably Instagram and all the places sometime this week. Okay. You, friend, let's talk about your stuff. Here's another one of your photos. You traffic in all sorts of toys, man. So you've also got a GIOS habit that's been brewing. How's that been going?
There, but I do try to restrain myself, I swear.
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't get in Brutal Realm. No, I get it. See?
Yeah, can't buy all of it.
Nope.
Yeah, I got my first GIOS at Legion's Con last year from George Gaspar, the Purple Titan skeleton, which is actually large for most GIOS. Most of them run kind of more that 2.75 inch. So a Titan skeleton, you got double the range there.
Oh, I've never even seen that. Okay.
Yeah. So these were based on Skeleton Warriors line.
Yep.
He was running a Kickstarter for that didn't fund because the toys weren't as big at the time in the GIOS format. But yeah, they're just fun. They don't take up as much shelf space, and there's great variety because the GIOS is a system, and so there's lots of different creators building on that. So it's fun just to kind of have a couple from everybody, and then try not to buy all the new ones on every drop.
That's the thing. GIOS is a system, as you say, and that's sort of like open system, if you will, that anybody can kind of wants to use the system, the peg sizes and the peg holes, etc., to combine things can use. And that way there's compatibility between all these different creators making their stuff. So when you say GIOS, that's a system, but it's like a bunch of different creators making whatever they want. Like, so you were saying George was trying to do taller figures, and there are a couple of taller GIOS ones that are cool. And then there are these. These are, can you break down some of these that we're looking at? If you know where they come from?
The
Like there's
armor, the Armivore in the middle, I think, is from O'Neill, and they do a lot of collaborations too.
I see.
So the gold guy in the back there is a Faden from O'Neill. The Krabos, which are the shorter guys up front, actually several people make those.
Okay.
For colorways, I've seen a few. I think the one on the left is O'Neill. There was a bit of variety in this picture.
Right. What is this?
So this is
cool.
Yeah, it's a vinyl. So there are some GIOS vinyls as well.
Oh.
I've got one.
Yeah, this is a bigger guy. Oh,
Yes.
look at that. I've seen that before. Can you show that again?
So it's a vinyl, so it's that hollow plastic.
Mhm.
But the arms and heads do pop off on these as well. Well, maybe not the head on this one. So between the vinyls, you could mix and match parts, but I don't think anybody really does. So this is a big one from the God Beast.
That is so cool. And is that God Beast also done? They did this one?
No, I don't remember who did that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is cool though. So like the wings.
It's a lot of new names and lines, especially with
Sure.
so many people putting them out that it is hard. Yeah.
It's cool. It's like the art toy, but you can play with them and you can, pop them out. And
a lot of the parts pop off. So hands,
Mhm.
arms, feet. You can, build your own creations. Basically, it's like Legos. Once you get all the parts, you come up with different things, mix and match them, swap colors. Yeah.
And so one of them would be like Toyfinity. And there's just to give a sense, because I know very little. Steph Ork, when she came on, was really the one sort of like just exposing me to this stuff. And I know she does an ongoing thing with Bill on Dork Lair around GIOS, which is awesome.
Yep.
This is stuff like some of it's been done as Mangalore's, like bringing back old properties. So that's this stuff. Yeah. But then Toyfinity also does this thing that I know you were saying that your Sidon is into, right?
Yeah.
The Mortals. Tell us about the Mortals.
Yeah, so I got a couple little ones here, or you can click on any of those pictures and see. They're just these little guys. There's 10 different sculpts. They're from an 80s toy line called Rocks, Bugs, and Things. And I wasn't familiar with it back then, but basically the Rocks, Bugs, and Things would come with a mortal, and they ate the mortals, I believe, is how it goes. So Toyfinity has the license for these and has built or made a bunch of different colorways of them. They're just fun little guys. You can work them into other photography. The set here in the picture is actually one from George Gaspar, October Toys. So different people have worked on them. That was a collaboration. I forget who that tattoo is from, but the other people that worked on that. So
I see.
Yeah,
and then seeing them, all of this is a straight up Keshi goodness, like a muscle back in the day.
A big vinyl mortal.
That's a big one.
Yeah, so they've made a few big vinyl ones too. And there's actually a B movie that featured a big mortal as a monster in it. I forget the name of it. Toyfinity has it posted up on his Facebook page. It's kind of a neat cameo. Yeah,
that's cool. If you're curious to learn more about them, because like part of the fun part about collecting is we can you don't have to buy everything, but I love to learn about this stuff. And I'm super intrigued by GIOS in general, because I really do feel like it's this intersection of like arts and crafts and toys. It's really like, it's just so cool to see this scene of folks who are like, oh yeah, there's a system. We all kind of agree to play in a compatible way, but like you do you, like you figure out what you want to do. And sometimes there are things like this.
And as Four Horsemen have talked about with the new Infinite Legions, that a lot of their inspiration came from the GIOS system, and their familiarity with that for the Legion system, which we now have. But the GIOS wiki, I'm not sure who all is involved in keeping it up to date, but it's pretty fantastic. It's got a list of a lot of the people that make them, and basically like everything that's been made in the past. It's not 100%, but there's a lot of good information out there.
That's really cool. What I also think is really cool. Let me go back to these real quick. These Mangalores are fantastic, and that's the one that didn't Nate do artwork for them as well? Nate Barch, am I getting that right?
Yeah, I forget if it was that or not.
Okay.
A few different people have some different artwork.
So is Mangalore's from the 80s the one that could pull apart and come back? The green guy that was like a okay. If it was I want to say that he did some key art for that. And so I got to say, like these sculpts are killer, and I didn't know that. Erwin Papa sculpted these. That's cool.
Great work, Erwin. There's some of the GIOS have a lot of detail on them. Honestly, most of them do, even if they're simple sculpts. But these are definitely more, small details all throughout. Yeah.
Really cool stuff, man. Yeah, all sorts of creatures, aliens. What's up, Cobb? Good to see you. Yeah, these are really cool. It just has that. It's like that you get a little bit of the nostalgia, but also just that sculpt is so cool, man. My mind would have been blown if we had anything like this detailed looking. And what's fascinating is I think a lot of that has to do with, upping of technology and all that kind of stuff. But these aren't, it's not heavy articulation. These are pegs and a simple peg and hole GIOS system that's connecting this to this and this to that. But they're really sophisticated looking toys. Very cool. Love that. Awesome. And yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, damn, you sculpt too? This guy, fantastic artist, man. Good stuff. Oh yeah, look at this guy. What's up, fan again? I tried making a GIOS Biotron. He's a big Micronauts Microman fan, but I felt like my joints were too fragile, so I considered it a fit. Well, no, man, keep going. He does great stuff. Good to see you.
Step 1, step 2. Yeah, it's not a fail till you quit. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, his youngest is in the GIOS. So tell us about, he said, I need to get them more. That's the one thing that's really interesting about GIOS. It's like you kind of just get in the community, you kind of see, and then they do like these drops, right? It's not like, oh, we're announcing a Kickstarter, be ready. It's just sometimes it just comes out of nowhere. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, so because they are all separate producers, everybody kind of runs their own schedules, and it's just whenever they have a new wave. I think O'Nell's on like wave 120 or something like that, where they've done drops. And every drop might contain 3 or 4, and then some extra parts you can buy to do crazier builds. You can just leave the figures how they are too, because a lot of them look pretty cool. But that's 10, 20 different people doing their own drops. So they don't seem to overlap. I assume that they talk to each other a little bit. But yeah, it's just maybe every other week, twice a month, there's a drop from one of the companies. And it's usually, so it's not like massive, each figure can range 15 to 25. Prices vary a little bit outside of there, but there's some variety. You can just get 1 or 2. Shipping is usually really cheap because these are small guys.
Right.
But if you get everything in the drop, sometimes it does add up to $70 to $90.
Sure.
But it's hard to pass them up, and you're paying shipping already. It's fun to have some variety because there are so many different creators in it.
Yep. And so folks are shouting out, giving props to Erwin. He's saying, yeah, I did a bunch of work for Toy Pizza too, so he's very familiar in the GIOS world. That's cool, man. Erwin, I gotta have you on here soon. I don't know why I've lagged, pasensya po, but I gotta get you on here, man. Good stuff. All right, man. We've already talked all sorts of indie stuff, new things. There's something that came out a while ago, from a company that that I've known and been familiar with ever since going back to SDCCs back in the day. They'd have these awesome displays, and that's Sideshow Collectibles. They'd have statues, they'd have 12-inch stuff. But now they're working with Boss Fight to do 112 versions of their original IP, Court of the Dead. And I haven't actually gotten I haven't gotten any boss fight at all. But these
I
figures,
haven't either. I've seen. It looks like they do good stuff.
Yeah. So this is Kier, Valkyrie of the Dead, who, like, I remember seeing this character in 1/6 form and statue from Sideshow a while back, and I think it was, I don't know if it was a game as well. I really am. It's a big mystery to me. I know Rob Zamora's super into it. It's so much so that he commissioned Emil,
yeah,
to do that custom in Legions, and it's gorgeous. And then here we are, Boss Fight picked up the license and is working with the Court of the Dead IP from Sideshow and is producing these figures. These have been dropping. I've been seeing Robo do reviews, other folks doing reviews online, and I'm like, okay, I think they didn't get me on Red Sonja, which one would assume, and a lot of people assume that I would be into, and I just kind of, no, like you, I gotta draw lines.
Yeah.
But I shout out to Boss Fight and Sideshow, because I think they might have gotten me on this one that I feel like I need to check out Kier. So this is great. This is the wave one that are like sort of happening right now. I think she's a really cool looking character. And then there is a second character in this first wave, and that's Death. And he's just cool, really cool looking. He reminds me of like Hellraiser, but in a, sword and sorcery kind of world. A lot of, because he's got that, faceless thing going on that was very Cenobite-ish. But gorgeous sculpts. Robo's review of this guy was really interesting to kind of like, he really kind of talked about all the different overlays, and it's real fair about it. I think I need to go in on Kier, and then maybe circle back to this. Has this gotten your interest at all? You seem to.
I hadn't actually seen this.
Oh, okay. So, what are your thoughts? What are your reactions?
It looks very well done. It doesn't jump out to me as something I'd probably nab though right away. Just not being familiar with the IP, and
sure.
When I do start getting fringe stuff, it's usually more from people I know in the community, and not just some random toy I bought that looked cool.
Fair enough.
Usually, yeah.
That's really a good way to, again, limit it. I don't have that. It's kind of like, oh, that's cool. So yes, fan again knows, like, just nerd out, dude. Go for it. I'm really into the overall look of these. More so again, Kier. I love like awesome women warriors. I love the fact that she's bloody and she's got that really cool skeleton mask. I'm just kind of curious. Part of me is like, for science, I want to understand how they're built, how the different figures are built, and what the plastic feels like. So we'll see. But let me show, because just recently they're like, yep, if you really have been intrigued by those, check out what wave 2 will look like. And so they've got these smaller 2-figure waves, which is also nice and manageable. So these are the 2 figures. Again, similar, right? Another sort of women warrior and this like tall creature. This guy, 3 arms. I can appreciate a good 90s asymmetry. But look at that, man. That's like a Grim Reaper, but someone's
very strong Reaper vibes. Yeah.
Sideshow stuff is great. And, we're talking Four Horsemen. They're going to be collaborating with Sideshow to do some statues for their characters. Like, both of those studios or companies seem to have that real art front, art forward kind of thing. And if they also traffic in sword and sorcery fantasy stuff, and so to see Boss Fight getting in on these at the 112 is really exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of almost some Magic the Gathering vibes.
Yes,
like you can totally see those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was wrong. It's not 3. There's like a little baby Tyrannosaurus Rex bloody hand in there. I don't know what's going on, but this is one where I will definitely be checking out probably both of these figures. She looks great. Look at that face. And, these are renders. We'll see how they actually play out. But the actual reviews of the Kier in hand, I was like, okay, I think I want to check these out. So again, it's a wild time. Look at them. Look at all of them together. That's killer. Different cool designs. They do run a little bit smaller than, say, Legion's head. Like, I look at heads a lot. Height wise are there. Heads, they might be a little small, but I think I can make them work in my, whatever rules, logic. So good stuff. What's going on? Good to see you, Allison. For copyright and trademark reasons, it's called a Sinochu, not a Cenobite. Yes. Love that. I still have not finished Severance. I need to get back to it. Yeah, these look really great. That Reaper's got to have more cowbell. Totally. Let's fear him. So good. I love the armor and everything. So just another thing for people to check out. Don't have to buy everything. I should, I'm not even going to say the names. You can see the names. They're wild. Demyth, yeah. So check them out. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Actually, Boss Fight wants to explore the dark a little bit. Have you seen that they've been teasing this? Are you a Mike Mignola Hellboy fan at all?
I've only watched the movies.
Okay.
Including the more recent kind of B movie. I forget what it was called that came out, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, I really can't wait to see a really excellent translation of his work in live action. His art is so stylized, as you sort of see here. He's got a real clear Mike Mignola or Mike Mignola. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced.
Yeah, sure.
Has a very defined, light, dark, high contrast, dramatic vibe, gothic vibe going on. And sometimes maybe hard to translate. I think the Guillermo del Toro one was really good. And I think there's some good stuff there. There was one with the dude from Savage. Nope. What's it called? Stranger Things. That's the word I'm looking for. Crimson Guardian from MCU. Whatever his name is, David something. Yeah. He played the character, and I wasn't as into it. It's a fun movie, but that said, these are really cool. It's cool that Boss Fight is picking up this property. Boss Fight stuff tends to hovers around that $30-$35 range. There are some really great ones from, I think it's called 1,000 Toys, if I'm not mistaken, but really expensive. And so to get Hellboy figures at Boss Fight's price point is really exciting to me. So there have been a couple of other teasers and, silhouettes of characters. This is more of just a teaser. I'm excited by it because I really did love this comic book. So yeah, I don't know.
Like you said, it's a golden age right now. Lots of stuff coming out.
Yep. So much. Hellboy, hell yeah. He's saying, oh wait, the last movie was good. The one before that was rough, and that's the sort of B movie that you saw. David Harbour, thank you very much. So here you go. So Mike has told you that it rhymes with Ignoria. So Mike Magnolia? Magnolia? That didn't help me, man. Unless I'm going to say Magnoria, maybe. And yeah, E is saying these look really cool and an interesting character selection for the first wave. Yeah, there's a big demon beast guy. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I don't have those all set up to go, but cool looking stuff. I know we can't buy all the things, so sometimes I'm just looking at stuff and intrigued. This I'd like to bring up something to switch gears a little, pivot. Action Point Studio is an account, customizer, and they actually produce parts that are compatible with Legions. They do generally they traffic in probably not a great choice of words, but their whole thing is women, these women characters parts to make like torsos, heads of female characters for your mythic legions. And so you can kind of see this custom head that they do. There's all of this stuff that's going on. These are the sculptors, but the heads and the portraits in particular are always so Cool.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those
Oh.
posted up on Customs in the Cabal. I think maybe some of them have been sold there too, out of those top ones.
Yeah.
They look great on figures when people get them in hand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just the sculpt alone is really great. And then you see how like people are painting them, and the eyes are always like so inspiring to me. I'm like, oh, that's great. You folks go, because their paint jobs are just
Lots of
killer.
talented people out there.
Mm-hmm. So here is so there is a pre-order that's actually happening right now. If you're interested in some of these parts, there are custom parts. I believe they're painted, and they're also not super cheap, but they're beautiful. This is them sort of showing like this is their character Cynthia. So you can buy the kit to make Cynthia, and it's obviously built on. Oh, I'm blanking. Can you help me out, Legion?
Was it Juno?
Yes,
Yeah.
Built on
or some similar Legion. Yeah.
right. And you'll sort of see here in a little bit that they even talk about like, oh, you know, if you can't get a Juno, but you like this type of character, this is how it works. It's interesting. You and I are having a conversation about this before the show, and from, you know, where I'm at, like these are definitely, there's this like sexualization that's sort of happening with these. Obviously, like it's a little bit beefcakey, especially here. Here's another one that they've got going on.
There's a lot of artwork from the 70s, 80s that correlates to that.
Sure.
You know? So
absolutely.
Definitely true to some source material out there.
Yeah. It's not necessarily something that I have a ton of on my shelf. And, you know, some of my stuff is at school, so it wouldn't be at school. I wouldn't be putting those up. But I've always been into, you know, we grew up at a time with the toy collections that we had. Like it was sadly a rarity to get women characters in the lines, right? Even like ones that had a lot of women characters, we weren't always getting them. Gatie's Toys, Andrew, who's in here, has a whole great YouTube channel where he actually goes back and is like, goes to look at some of those 80s toy lines and shows, and he's like, where were these characters? Like, and highlighting women characters that are missing, MIA. So I'm always, as I started doing this sort of you know, my midlife, my toy life crisis is what I call it, and started getting back into like this version of action figure collecting. I was really excited to like grab again, bad choice of words, female action figures, women action figures, like legions, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna hunt down a Juno. Let me see if I can find a Hera. Like these awesome characters and cool character archetypes. So I'm always intrigued and happy that there are folks who are like, we're specifically going to make it so that you can get even more women characters. I think they look great. You know, I'm not prudish either. Like I'm down. They look great. So I don't know.
I don't consider myself prudish, but it's just not my style in the toy room. Like, I don't think they were bringing their razors with them to keep trimmed up under that armor, you know?
Yeah, and I was telling you, it was the Zez rays. I was on a Discord, and I was like, the Zez ray look cool. I have the Wave 3 Zez ray. They came out with 3 women, Berenice, forgetting the other 2, was it Cassia? But there are 3 characters that they came out with, and they were cool. They were a little bit more natural looking. They didn't have like, you could totally disrobe them, and you know, people are weird about it, but they didn't have like glamour makeup, you know, like eyeliner and like rouge. The latest Zez wave does have that.
Oh, okay.
I'm still getting some of them. So I made a comment. I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like they're full on, like before they go on to like the battlefields in the gladiator pit, they're like sitting there, someone's doing their hair and makeup, and it can get a little weird if you think too much about it, which I can't help it. That's how my brain works. And so, yeah, people were like, you're kind of snidely commenting. I wasn't necessarily saying they can't do it. I was simply pointing it out.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's lots of options out there, and lots of different tastes and interests. This is something, I mean, I do all my toys with my son, and, you know, Juno's got the bare midriff and stuff too, but it doesn't feel quite as deliberately suggestive. You know, that's more of a natural vibe, not a, you know, over sexualization.
Not meant to like gaze, to have the gaze and that whole like, well, titillation, whatever it is, but different strokes. I do think there's a place for it. And like you said, there's a very much a precedent in high fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, Conan sexy's all greased up. But this I thought was really interesting. They put out this video to kind of like explain how it all works. So they're like, you could use these base bodies. And they pointed out too expensive to go back. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's true.
Yeah.
They're not wrong, but they're saying you can use any piece. And this is, again, I think, a testament to the awesomeness that is Four Horsemen's Legion's system of parts, that this can happen. And they're just showing you how you can, like, take the different parts and make this. You buy the kit from them, and I think it's really cool. I really love this part of indie toys. I love the cool new IP, all that, but I love the idea of like empowering the toy collector to create new characters, to customize, and to paint, extend it with parts. So
yeah,
I love
the whole 3D heads community. I mean, you don't even have to get as in depth as this. Has just made it so much fun for so many people to play with their toys, right?
Yep. Yeah, Brian saying it looks like a loose collector body. Yeah, those definitely, they've got fantasy curves and stuff. Juno the Crusher, thank you very much. Yes. What's up, Red 5? Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely want Hellboy figures. Thanks for stopping in, Red 5. But these look really cool. I looked into them. They're not something that I am going to do right now. Again, they're not cheap, and I'm guilty of having parts and being like, oh, I'm going to make this cool custom and never doing it. They sit forever. So I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
I've got a couple drawers of 3D parts.
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier, I painted a few heads, but I just don't have the time, and I enjoyed it. They came out better than I expected, but it's hard for me to prioritize that.
Oh, shoot. Thank you very much, Larry. Yes, my birthday. Yeah, thank you. August 14th, 3 days ago, was my birthday. I'm also like neck deep in trying to get the year started. So it was a weird birthday. We also had, it's a bittersweet time. I'll just say that, some family stuff going on, but it also happens to be, my birthday happens to fall on, I started this channel on my 46th birthday. So this is my third anniversary of the channel last Thursday, as well as my 49th birthday. So thank you very much, Larry. I appreciate that. This guy, yeah, he knows what's up. Brick is buying figures for research under Jason's orders. I swear. Thank you for telling Joanna, my spouse, that. Yes, it's purely research. It's all professional these days. Spaded one. Yes, Legions is doing something I've been wishing for decades: standardized pegs and easily swappable parts. I hate when a line has a different size neck or hand pegs. I hear you, man. Can you imagine what always tripped me out? And I understand why, for licensing reasons and stuff, that Hasbro, who makes all this great IP, but you can't swap heads on, you can't swap hands, and it's like, and yeah, man, Horsemen, yeah, they know what's up. And I'm a Lego guy, so I know all about standard systems. Thank you very much, Fanigan. Thank you, Zio, for reminding folks and me. Drop a like on the video, on the stream, please do. He's like, I don't know why I felt the need to say it, but yeah, do it. Thank you, Zio.
I'm usually the one dropping that comment on videos too. Just
encourage. It
people.
Helps.
Support folks. It's easy little click.
I see you, Spaded one, exactly who he was thinking about. Here, let's switch gears for a little bit, because we are cosmopolitan nerds. We don't simply traffic in plastic articulated toys. We appreciate all sorts of things. This guy. So I think I commented one time. I don't know if it was in the Cabal or where you posted this, but I was like, dang, that's amazing. One, it's Dark Crystal, which I don't think gets enough love. But two, that you went to this, the Center for Puppetry Arts in Georgia, in Atlanta. Yeah. And I was super intrigued. I didn't even know it existed until you shared these photos. I know it's been a long time, over a year now, but can you talk to me a little bit about this? And God, this is amazing.
Yeah. So I didn't know it existed either. I was going down for Toylanta last year, and I reached out to Big Dub, who's a local around there. And I was like, what should we do? And I flew out for the toy show for the weekend, and then my wife and son drove down and met up with me Sunday after at the end of the toy show. And then we did the aquarium, the Center for the Puppetry Arts, a couple different things in Atlanta, and then stopped at some aquariums and zoos on the drive back home. So it was kind of a family vacation. But yeah, at the Center for Puppetry Arts, and the displays probably change now and then, but when I went, they had a fantastic Dark Crystal and Labyrinth display, in addition to a lot of other goodies. So it was just, yeah, it's so cool. We've read, there's graphic novels for the Dark Crystal. There's book series. Like, we've read all of it. It's just such a fun world. And I never knew any of that stuff existed until, 5 years ago, maybe. So any time we stumble across something new, we're definitely checking it out. And yeah, I mean, Mother Ogre is a fantastic character.
Ogre, yeah.
Love the Netflix series. That was so exciting when they had that on.
That's
so
how
sad we haven't seen more from it.
My oldest got really into it, and I was like, man, do you know, like, when you were younger, I used to show you the first one, like, skipping some scary parts, and he just wasn't that into it. He's like, really? And then we went backwards and watched Dark Crystal, and he was all into it. And I went to the library, and they have the graphic novels. But I think the world is fascinating. Even as a kid, I was just super fascinated by these creatures and this world.
Definitely creepy as a kid. Like,
yes,
yeah, these are not singing, dancing puppets on Sesame Street.
They're cackling Skeksis who are like want to eat you and suck out your life essence,
drinking your essence.
But the thing is, what's great to see. What's that?
Mr. Ryan Clark just made a comment about the Gartham scaring him as a kid. So there we go.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic. Like, they were like, what are these robots? Are these creatures? Are these bugs? Tell me more. And the way they moved, because it was Jim Henson, they built these giant puppets. And that's what's really neat for me to see you next to it in that first shot, because it's like, the scale of these things, I can't imagine.
That was definitely a neat part about seeing them in person. And she does have a sheet of glass there too. That was just a little clever camera trick, make it look like she was handing it to me. But yeah, it was really neat to see the scale, especially like on the Garth, of just the size of those. And we watched all the bonus features about how they do a lot of this stuff, and it's just cool to actually see it in person.
Mm-hmm. Freaky beetle crab monsters. Yeah, man.
I highly recommend this if you're anywhere near the Atlanta area. Try to pop in and check it out. Maybe call it first in case they've changed some of the displays. But they had some really cool Sesame Street stuff as well. They had a couple of Mystery Science Theater 3000. They had the robot guys there. They had some cool stuff.
Man, yeah, and so do you happen to know if the Dark Crystal stuff is part of their permanent collection, or is that just like the big feature show?
I believe it is, yeah.
I mean, it should be, given like it's such a pinnacle for puppetry, right? This huge, really great feature film. The Netflix stuff was fantastic, and yeah. Anyways, I'm with you. We needed toys. We needed, I don't know. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Funko Pop has done some Dark Crystal toys off the show, just some basic stuff. Yeah. I'd love to see something a little more detailed, a little more articulated. Yeah.
All right, man. I know we're going a little long. Just a couple of other things that I would love to talk through. Actually, this one. Oh, wait, I have to show this one. I need to bring it up because I put it on the thumbnail and I thought it was just so beautiful. When we were growing up, the word poser, I don't know if that was something that you and your friends trafficked in, but, I was a punk kid, and a lot of times you'd clown on other people, or you'd be clowned on for being a quote unquote poser, faker. You're not really into it. But no, these days I'm like, nah, poser is a badge of honor.
Depends upon which circles you run in. Yeah.
Well, if you're in the action figure world, man, the posing that people can achieve. And this is the one that I put on the thumbnail just because no new news. Like these have been announced. This is the amazing Yamaguchi, Revoltech and Kyoto. That's what I'm searching the company. This is their Attack on Titan line. But the feat of physics and balancing, the way that it's a Revoltech body. If you're not familiar, it's an import body that has all sorts of wild joints. And if you look too closely, it'll mess with your head in terms of like where things fall in the anatomy or whatever. But you can do things like this. Like limbs can get real close together. They can go real far apart. The shoulders, while some would argue are garbage. I've heard people say, Chambas famously talks about garbage shoulders, but the range and the movement, look at that. It's so fluid, gestural. I was just
like a volleyball right there. You can see it. Yeah.
Yep, or throw a cart or some animals, because I don't know if you've seen it. You were saying that you've seen it.
I have seen Attack on Titan. Yeah.
And this guy in particular is so cool. Just great looking, like flayed person, but not. It's like calcified bone looking. And this is I should say Cat Legion with a 0 did these, and just excellent posing on these figures. I saw a lot of these figures in Tokyo recently, and at the Kyoto shop, and they're actively trying to sell these things, but like if they had some of these poses, man, the drama, just like it's like they're like origami, they're folding. It's so good. I just wanted to highlight this. I appreciate the posing on this so much. So cool. You ever gotten to play with any Revoltech joints?
I have not. Figures? No.
I have very limited. Like a long time ago, early 2000s, picked up some legacy IP that they were doing in Revoltech. I need to find where those figures are, and they were cool. But that was the early days. Sometimes could get brittle, but now it's just amazing what can be done. And you can kind of see, like, if we were to sit here and study the anatomy of a figure, like these rockers, they've got the toe joints, you've got the calf rotation, the knees are different. It's this interesting two-part, like you just have the two legs and they hit together and they swivel, but it gets them this really nice range that I hadn't registered. I wasn't familiar enough until, who was I talking to? I think it might have been Chamba or somebody else telling me about, like, no, those are just standard knees. Look at that. And the physics too, right? Being able to balance, and that's really cool. I hope people can appreciate this, because like I'm just like, I just want to look at the posing. It's just really cool. And it's not just that figure. It's not a one-off. So here's another figure, same body, amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech stuff. It's cool. I think this is My Hero Academia, maybe? Yeah, My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Yeah.
It's cool.
There's so much good anime out there. Like, I've started watching some over the last 6-7 years. You know, we had Netflix for a long time. We've got Hulu now. They have a bunch of great shows on.
Alien Earth? Have you checked that? Are you a Xenomorph guy?
We've seen all I watched a bunch of vintage movies with my son. So this last year we've gone through all the Alien and the Predator movies. Cool. But I don't keep up on shows regularly. I like to wait until it's all out and then watch it at the end most of the time.
Alien Earth came out last week, and
we'll definitely be watching that.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
If you appreciate the Alien, some of the cinematography and stuff, and the costume design, I was like, wow, I feel like this was filmed like right after the original Alien was.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely, my son has been mentioning, there's a new one coming out. There's a new one coming out. So
I love it, man.
Once we get some more episodes out, we'll sit down and watch it.
So damn good, Erwin. So gestural. I'm Ryan Clark. I'm always impressed when people can pose figures to balance like that. Yeah, it's just so cool.
And get the picture off before it falls.
Right. Spaded one, man. That amazing Yamaguchi channeling 796 there. Saves some articulation for the rest of us for sure. And Larry still trying to get better at posing my figures. Some just work better than others. Yeah, it's cool. Last year when we were last year we were traveling again to Tokyo. I know I swear it's not humble brag, and I feel very honored to be able to have done it. But SH Figure Arts, in some of their displays, in the equivalent of basically like a Best Buy, they have racks of like to learn about SH Figure Arts, and they had a posing guide, which was brilliant. It was like great for artists and stuff too, just like how to pose your figures. And it's like,
I think I've seen D Amazing post up a posing guide once before too, because he's fantastic at it. Yeah,
so good. If you've got time, I've got 2 other little newsy bits, and then we'll call it a day. You good?
I'm good. Keep going.
All right. Alien Earth, baby. Check it out. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. I've been talking about this green scar / jade scar figure that is now on pre-order at $5K by Action. 6-inch plus. 6-inch plus. This is not Hulk, right? This is one of those real gray area things where they're clearly playing in somebody else's sandbox without paying for the license. I acknowledge. It's like a World War Hulk type design. So if you've been watching the show, folks know about it. This was the original sort of solicitation, what it sort of came with. And I want to clarify, because I've seen folks still asking on different parts. You can absolutely take everything off this, including the sandals. You can get a stripped down body, green body, except for this sculpted headband that's already in there and here. I was wondering if maybe they would, as sometimes these companies do, throw in a little bonus. So far, they haven't said anything. I have pointed out that 6-inch plus has sculpts of this green angry character without that. Ones that look a lot like McFarlane doing the Incredible Hulk, let's say, or other artists doing the Incredible Hulk. So the person has sculpted them, and they've even shown them off on this body. So they exist, but at this point, they're not coming with this figure. But they did start to like hint that, there might be some bonus things coming along. So I was like, maybe we're going to get a head that doesn't have a headband. But that's not the case. They started, actually, it's not even here. So I did show it already, I think 2 shows ago, that they announced first he's getting a sheath for that sword. Okay. Like, oh, cool. And then they announced this guy, he's also getting a shield. And then they also announced, and he's also getting these thunderclap hands. And that's it so far. I just think it's kind of interesting. We talk about indie toys doing their own IP. And then we've got this other brand of folks who are playing with other people's IP in this clearly not legal by U.S. copyright standards and IP rules, admittedly. But they're playing with that. Between World of Warcraft does a lot of that. We've seen some Dragon Ball Z stuff that is not officially licensed. And then now this thing that looks a lot like an Incredible Hulk. I just think it's an interesting development, because if I look at this figure, back in the day, you ever get like knockoff toys and they were like you're like, knockoff was like not only did they not pay for the license, but this thing is like cheap and ugly.
Yeah. The quality usually wasn't there.
Not so much anymore.
Now we're getting the high-end knockoffs. Yeah.
Not so much anymore. And they keep pushing the envelope, like the movement on this, the idea of like face plates, and removable parts and bonus parts. That all just really, I find intriguing. And it only adds to the conversation. I'm like, well, what else are these companies going to do? And what are they going to offer? I don't know what the dynamic is with like Hasbro when they see things like this. But I think from collectors, you're often hearing people, oftentimes, I don't think in a responsible way, griping and being upset, like, this is not the best Hulk you can do, blah, blah, blah. And then a company like this does something like that. So I don't know. I just think it's, as a observer and a participant, I think it's kind of interesting to see it all play out, because these figures end up really good. They end up like doing things that other companies just aren't doing in terms of articulation and level of sculpt. You and I talk on and on about Four Horsemen and the beauty of their work. And I look at the level of detail, the paint, and to me, these are like, playing in that same level, right? and again, I guess gray area figures, and they're achieving some really cool stuff. So this is that sheath that I was talking about. That wasn't originally shown, but they're like, yep, this is coming too. Oh, what are your thoughts on something like this? Either this figure in particular, or just the broader phenomenon of these things happening?
It looks fantastic. I mean, I've seen a lot of cool looking toys coming out of 5Ks. I haven't bought any myself.
Oh, okay.
You know, some of it is that you know, budget and space,
Of course.
and then yeah, when it toes that IP line, I tend to not try to support it because
I got you. I respect that.
It's easy to say, well, you know, this is a giant company and they're not doing it right, so somebody else went and did it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once you start letting some things slide, where do you draw lines? And it's, you know, they could have made the head a little different, and he's still a little more different, and he still could have been a big green guy. They are clearly trying to make money off Hulk,
Yes.
not their own thing.
Yeah. And that's true. And I know this guy's a big fan and was just sort of like, or guy, I don't know them actually. But they've on their Instagram, they're doing custom Marvel figures all the time. And, you know, this is the first that they're sort of actively trying to sell. They do custom parts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some of it's just fan. Some of it's also like, oh, here's an opportunity to make money.
And when it's, you know, low volume and you're doing it as a fan, you're selling a one-off custom or something. That's different. You know?
Yep. This is clearly, we're trying to sell thousands. And
yeah.
I hear that. And you're right. I think Allison here, she might be onto something. For copyright and trademark reasons, that's not the Incredible. That's the stupendous chunk.
Yep.
Or I love Ryan's, the Incredible Hoax.
I mean, it's tough not to look at it and go, that's fantastic. And, you know, and if I was a guy who bought a lot of Marvel, I don't have any Marvel stuff. Like if that was my jam, this would definitely tempt me. So then you just got to decide, you know, where do you want your money going? You know, what are you okay with?
I am definitely very tempted by this so much that like I saw it and I was like, okay, cool. They're like, and I acknowledge the contradictions of it. You know, it's taking money from people. I get that. It's also Hasbro and
when it's a big company
and Marvel.
Feel bad about
it. Like my thing is like, and I've said this before, it's like, man, those designers and stuff, they should be being paid better anyway. But that said, this thing I think is great. It's in my wheelhouse. Like I've got this sword and sorcery fantasy / tech. It's very Masters of the Universe, mixing sci-fi and fantasy. It's kind of what a lot of the vibe, and I can make it work. Creatures and bugs and you know, Hindu gods, like it all works. So I have an Incredible Hulk, Marvel Legends Anniversary one. He's great, but he's got purple pants that don't totally work on my shelf. But to get him in this outfit in particular is like, oh my God, it's kismet. And so I went in on day one. That's the other thing was weird. So this is 5K. Day one, I want to say was like August 2nd when it went up. And they quickly announced, I want to say it was like the morning of the 4th, that because this wasn't here then. So it was full price was $89. And then I think morning of August 4th, I've shared this before on the channel. All of a sudden you saw this and they're like, oh, it's going up after August 4th, which is like a little weird, but okay. And so it did go up to $104. And then after that, they were like, oh yeah, but you're getting the sheath. And then a couple of days later, it was like, and then you're getting the thunderclap and the shield. So it's just a funny game, and it's always interesting to me to sort of see the different ways that people are buying toys, different way companies are pitching toys. So I don't know.
Yeah, and some of that's probably based on, you know, feedback or market research or reactions that they're getting, that and they go, we could charge $15 more for this. Right. Yeah.
It looks great. I locked it in, so
I do like the early backer bonuses on like Kickstarters and stuff, like to motivate people to get the attention. That definitely makes sense. Yeah.
And then, you know, there are other, like there's layers, right? So Doombot's pointing out it's not like CT Toys or Mess Toys who are stealing sculpts. Like they're seeing fans do sculpts of things and they're like, oh, well, we're going to use that same design in our thing, or stealing molds. I haven't heard about molds, Doombot. You can clarify, but I don't know if they've literally are because they're in a particular part of the world, maybe like using molds from like Mafex or something. I don't know if that's what the thought is, but, and then there's this piece. Rick is pointing out, like, as far as like suing goes, from my experience, Star Wars lawyers are better than the Marvel lawyers. They never get away with bootlegging Star Wars. Yes, I heard that, but that's also, I would say that was pre-Disney. I know Lucasfilm was like very staunchly protective of their IP. I remember when WonderCon was up here, like stories about people, because Lucas is up here. When it was in San Francisco, they'd be approached and be like, excuse me, like, what is this Star Wars thing you're selling that isn't licensed? And they were very aggressively and staunchly defending their IP. These days,
and some of that comes down to corporate priorities, right?
Yes.
Because all those efforts, all that research, litigation costs them money. Is it worth it? Like,
Well, okay. Last thing, let's close out with maybe something a little less controversial. And here's one that's like just simply like, okay, all around, I think it's a great thing that's happening here. Very indie, insightful imagery. Michael Duggar out of Oakland, California, West Side. He does fantastic props. Are you familiar with insightful imagery or Michael's stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm following him. Yeah. And there's a lot of really good Mezco toy photographers. I don't know what it is about the Mezco toys, but they seem to have pulled in a lot of that audience. I've got some Mezco myself. They do have great articulation, soft goods. They're definitely photographic. So some of the stuff those guys do is just incredible. And it is world building. It's the dios, the props, the full scenes, not just here's a character outside on a rock, like I take.
So at the West Coast Mythic Meetup in Sacramento, please, first off, please, your stuff is great. Come on now. But aside from that, the Mythic Meetup, I got to pick up some of the stuff from Michael. His prints are beautiful, and his weathering and painting is fantastic. I can't even see if this is actually, So this is for like a Mythic Legion skeleton, and it's kind of cool. It's got this beautiful chain. It's premium quality stuff. The wood texture on this, so good. Pillory or stocks, I forget. But so what this is a photographer. I'm Not a Bird or Plane, spotlighting that he actually purchased Michael's or Insightful Imagery's saloon, Western Saloon. And so I love that he's kind of in the process of printing and building. I think he bought the STLs and is printing it himself. And so he's in the process of putting it together. And in the meantime, he's using it as a photography sort of like project. So he's got the floor done, and then he's taking like vapor and sort of like doing like they're building a Western movie set. And I love this. And I can't wait to sort of see how this all unfolds as he starts to print out the walls and everything else. We have creative folks in the community, man. It's really cool. And we're also in the age, I got to say, of the internet where we can actually see this stuff. They have a venue to, show it off for all of us to see. And then nerds like you and I to get on here on a Sunday and talk all about it.
Yeah. If you're on it, if you're not on Instagram, at least pop on, even if you don't post up your own toy picture, because there's a lot of, you can find some of this stuff on Facebook and some other platforms, but Instagram's definitely a fantastic source of just incredible talent on pictures. And whether it's toy photography or nature, whatever else you're into, there's a lot of quality content on there. Go look at 1/6 Shooter and see who he's following. Like go to somebody is good and see who they are following and go follow some of those people. Go check them out. Go see what they have going on and fill up your feed with some stuff you enjoy.
Brilliant advice. 100%. Again, I really appreciate the creativity here, but also the community spirit, right? So it's like he's supporting Michael, who's doing this all. This is his hobby and passion. He's a photographer himself too, and a lot of this started because he's like, oh, I need a beer mug. I need a barrel for a photo. So I'm like, oh, let me sculpt it. Kind of like so many. I'm like, oh, let me learn how to sculpt. And then he's painting it, and now all of a sudden it's become a thing that he does. It was awesome going full circle. The beginning of the show, we talked about Legions Con and meeting people. I got to sit next to Michael at GCon, him and his wife, and got to meet them. And it's like, oh man, you're like right here in Oakland. So I love this because not only is he doing, he's clearly building his own stuff and printing this awesome set by Michael to eventually take photos of, but he's turning it into a project. And I don't know if you see this in the back. It's just so cool. Like the thought of like, let me throw Michael's logo back there, and it comes part of the photo, insightful imagery set design, and hiring a vapor figure to make it. I think that's all cool, man. I love what's going on. And if you're curious, this is actually Michael's site, insightfulimagery.com. And again, all the links will be up at the link that's scrolling at the bottom at the end of the show, as well as the QR code that's down there. You can reach that. But here's the set. So this is what he's working towards. Gorgeous. Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
The GIOS stuff is incredible too. Like the artists that are working with those and building those, and just so much talent out there.
Yep. And again, we don't have to buy all the things. I love Michael, and I think he does stuff, and it's absolutely worth what he's charging. Because man, this stuff is so refined. But let me get to the price. The price, if you didn't catch it, it depends on what parts you go, but it starts at $550. So not necessarily something I'm going to get, but man, can I admire it. And I love that I'm Not a Bird or Plane is really going to like use it every step of the way to try and create some great content with this thing that costs a pretty penny. So anyway, that's the ephemera, man. Thank you, Cullun. Thank you for hanging out with me for so long and looking at nerdy stuff.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It's like I said at the beginning, it's always fun to talk toys and hang out with the community. So this is fun. I don't get to catch as many of the YouTube shows as I would like. It's again with time and stuff that we talked about earlier, but it's fun to have a chance to pop on, get this interaction, this extra level when I can, when it works.
Yeah. And thank you for all the work that you do. Like there's all sorts of cool stuff that you're doing. I think it's super fun. I'm glad we got to highlight some of it. And again, I also love what you do with your son. Like we are geek dads, and I'm all about it. Like, I love encouraging young people, even my students, to just be into the things that you're into and have fun. Like, don't lose the childlike part. Laugh, just have fun and play. And that's largely why I have, in addition to honestly having more space at work than I do here. But no, and it makes me happy. And they see that. They're like, what's up with all that? And it's like, and I tell them all the time, it's like, what we do here is hard. We're learning, it's like sometimes it gets boring, to be honest. And I get it. I bore myself. And I look over there and I'm like, oh, which reminds me, like, oh, this is fun. And, and with city kids, San Francisco city kids, it's always like, they're cool. They're toughened by the world they're living on. A lot of tough exteriors. Like, come on, man, play some action figures with me. Yeah. So I love that you play with your son. You're bringing him into it. It's cool. So let's go be geek dads again. Let's reunite with our kids after this. Let's say goodbye to folks. But hey, man, thank you again. I'd love to have you back on again some other time. And I'm really looking forward to November. Are you going to be there?
Soon. 11 weeks.
Are you going Wednesday or what's
I'll be there Wednesday. I'll get into town Wednesday.
Okay. You're not doing intern this year, are you?
I will be at the studio doing my run around, take pictures of everything.
Beautiful.
Thing. So
right on.
Yeah, Jeremy needs those pictures. It'll be fun.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Hey, thank you for coming through. Thank you, everybody who stopped in to watch. Really appreciate you guys. Please definitely leave a like, do all of that stuff. I will catch you in the microverse for sure. Thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate you all. If you're catching this on the replay, please also leave a comment. It helps the algorithm and all that stuff. Again, happy 3rd anniversary to the channel. I do it because it's fun. And and I appreciate you all who validate that it's a good thing to do, that people are enjoying it. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you, Zio. Thank you, Erwin. Thank you, Cullun. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a blast.
Yeah. All right. So here's where I end it awkwardly. I'm going to play some music and then we'll get out of here. Thank you, everybody. Happy Sunday. Have a great week. Peace, power. Yay, this guy too. Woohoo. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Ending the stream. And now, bye-bye, bye-bye. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. All